Hello everyone, my name is Bradley, and welcome to my Binding of Isaac tier list. And I do emphasize this is my Binding of Isaac tier list. I've played this game for about 400 hours, and I've also played Repentance basically non-stop ever since it's come out. So that's what makes me qualified, okay? I might not be a Northern Lion or a Cobalt Streaks, getting 50 wins in a row, and sure, I can't beat... The game is tainted lost, but so what? I'm still qualified to give you guys my opinion, okay? So yes, don't take this tier list with a grain of salt. This is the ultimate tier list, okay? So we have at the very top Pill Nation. Come on, Pill Nation. That should be self-explanatory. Then we have the S plus tier. Then we have the S tier, the A tier, B, C, D, F, and the Z tier. Z tier means bro. This item needs to be patched out of the game. Like, just to patch this item out of the game tier so I can stop getting it. Alright, you guys, without further ado, let's go. First item, 120 volt. This item's okay. If you stand next to enemies, you deal a lot of damage. I hate getting close to enemies, though, and I always get hit whenever I have this item. But if I don't get hit, it usually does a lot of damage and helps me clear out rooms pretty quickly. I'm going to give it a B tier, as I think it's very useful, but in limited situations. I'm actually going to give it an A tier, because the damage is actually really nice. It does a lot of damage, and I think that's... And the fact that it scales with tiers means that the more damage you have, the better it becomes. 1-up is always good. You're always happy to see a 1-up. That means you get an extra life. However, whenever I get this, I usually actually end up quitting my runs out of rage before I ever have need my 1 extra life. But it's a lot better than 9 lives, because you don't start off with 1 heart and just die immediately. So I'm gonna put it in A tier. 2020, even though it's got a damage nerf, I still think it's fantastic. Just hit both shots, forehead. Just hit both shots. It's definitely S tier. Fear. Too spooky for me is a brand new item where enemies no longer come close to you. It helps protect you from stupid enemies like leeches and shit that just non-stop want to chase after you until the end of time. It makes it so that you can just focus less on those guys and more on the guys, shooting tears from you 20 miles away. So, because of that, I'm actually going to put it in A tier. I actually enjoy getting this item whenever I see it. Defensive items are very valuable in Isaac, especially since the game has just gotten substantially harder. And I think that this is a reasonable defensive item. $3 tiers. This is either the worst item in the game or the best item in the game. I'm going to put it in B tier. It makes your tiers go all random. The reason it's really good is because that means that if you have nothing, no damage or anything, then this could be a gateway to getting a run started. But if you have a bunch of stuff, this can potentially deal damage, like you could deal damage to yourself with this. It could add an effect that's all not that useful and you don't even realize it, so B tier seems acceptable. Next, we got the battery where you beat the juice out of them, where your item no longer charges on its own, but now, this item, you can just keep getting infinite charges or whatever. I think that in the right scenario, this item's S plus tier. Example, green mode with Lilith, right? So that you could just keep beating up on bosses and infinitely getting more incubuses. However, the situations where I would rather have this rather than say a car battery are pretty limited. I still think it's a reasonable battery upgrade. I'm going to put it in B tier, which again, is average. It means I'm pretty okay with seeing it. I'm a lot happier seeing it in a B tier item than a C tier item, okay? 7 seals. Everyone hates 7 seals. I don't hate 7 seals. I just think it's really disappointing when you see it. I'm going to give it a C tier because they buffed it. The flies are fine. It's a friend that follows enemies and tracks them automatically, which is actually pretty useful if you're playing defensively, which again is very valuable in Isaac, especially for me since this game is too fucking hard. Next, we got 9 Inch Nails. Just a fantastic item. A big damage up. It adds a ton of knockback to your tiers. It's just fun to get. You're always happy to see it. Next item, 9 Volt, automatically gives you 1 bar of charge after using your spacebar item. Fully recharges your current spacebar item when fully picked up. Any items which are normally 1 room charge are now timed instead. I don't know, I barely ever get use out of this. I actually think it's I'm just not that happy when I see it. Sure, it's nice to have a little bit extra of a charge, and this is especially super good with say Shoop de Whoop or 2 item charges or stuff like that. But unfortunately, a lot of the times I don't have items like that. I usually have items like Book of Revelations or Book of Shadows or Satanic Bible, and then I get this item and it's oh yay, 1 extra charge for $15. It usually ends up like that, and because of that, I think that it's a lot better in concept than it is in execution. Abaddon is damage. We love damage. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't even have this item unlocked. I probably should if I'm rating it, but you know, let's see. So it's a 1.5 damage up that gets rid of all your red hearts, which is a huge downside. But honestly, if you see this thing and you pick it up, it usually means you don't have that many red hearts in the first place. So I'm gonna give it an S tier. Yeah, the big ass damage up and a speed up. I mean, come on, that's pretty good. Plus an occasional fear shot, you know, it's good enough. Plus, I mean, it looks badass, right? That's another reason. It looks badass. Next item, we got bar of soap. Don't drop it. Tears up. It's a tears up. It's good. You're happy when you see it. Abel. This is one of those items that I wish I can go back and like not unlock from the game. Yeah, this is just such a shit item. I honestly would rather have any other item. It's impossible to like get this thing to work. Every time I try to deal damage with it, I'm not dealing damage with myself, because guess what? Turns out mirroring across the room does actually nothing. This is a Gen Z get the fuck out of my face tier. Abyss is a really good item. I think Abyss is really fun. I'm gonna give it a S tier because I haven't even unlocked Apollyon yet. Bro, this lets you get rid of Mirrored Baby and have an actual decent attack fly, which is pretty good. Plus the flies scale with your damage. I mean, this thing's great. It's not an S plus tier because I've never used it before. I've only seen Northern Lion use this shit. Again, don't take this tier list with any salt. This is the official tier list. Acid Baby, Pill Nation, Tio. Pill Nation, Pill Nation, Pill Nation. Whenever you use a pill, which I use all the time, it poisons the entire room. Okay, I mean it poisons the room for the one use of the pill. I mean, come on, that's a room clear. All right, Pill Nation. Next we got Active Contrition. The secondary effect really does nothing, considering the fact that if I get Active Contrition, it's because I haven't been taking Devil Deal items, but of course it is a Tears Up and shit, so I'm gonna give it an A tier. Plus it gives you an Eternal Heart and Tears Up, which is it's slightly better than a regular Health Up and a regular Tears Up. Dollar bill, I never see this shit, but it's good. It's 99 bucks. I just wish that I didn't have to fight greed every single time. Adrenaline, I'm always unhappy to see this. It's so niche. You need you need something like the thing that takes away all your health, Blood Oath. All right, you need like Blood Oath to make this thing even usable at all. Definitely when you compare this to all the other syringes, I'm always unhappy to see this shit. I've actually like never seen this item, and I don't actually I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Akeldama. With each shot fired, another bloody tear will spawn behind Isaac. Spawning multiple tears will form a trail of tears that follows Isaac, bursting, dealing damage. Oh yeah, it's this thing. It's like a following umbilical cord. Yeah, so this is what it looks like in action. You know, it looks a little goofy, but I mean, it works. It does its job. It swings around, you know, it attacks enemies. It's a little bit of fun extra damage, okay? That's not the most, you know, useful thing in the world. But as you see, you know, it's like in this video clip, if you get invincibility, you know, you just whack the chain off or whatever. It's you know, it's a fun item. I like fun items. I enjoy items that make you step outside your comfort zone and do something a little weird. I'm gonna give it a B tier. Alabaster's Box. You gotta give it 8 fucking soul hearts for it to open up and pay out. This thing only works if you're a very good boy. But that being said, I'm always disappointed to see this thing. I don't know, man. You gotta give it like a million fucking things for it to pay out. It takes up an active item slot, which means you gotta leave behind your Book of Revelations to pick this thing up. I don't know, man. I'm not that confident in it. Next item, we got almond milk. I mean, come on. It's fucking almond milk, all right? I'm always happy to see this thing, okay? This thing is nuts. It's nutty, okay? But actually, though, it's C tier. I'm actually very disappointed whenever I see this thing. Completely butchers your damage and tier rate and makes it so you never hit the enemies, but it does have some fun combos. Coal, S plus tier. I always love seeing coal. I always underestimate just how strong coal is. Yeah, the amount of damage coal actually gives is like unfucking believable. You add a laser in there, you add a brimstone, and coal just becomes the absolute like nuts. It's the nuts, man. I'm always happy to see it, unless of course I have P. In which case, it's S tier, because low range equals sad boy hours. Play the clip of me dying, please. Oh, yeah, that's right. There is no clip of me dying, because I never die. I never lose. All right, coal is S+. I think it's the first S+. Analog Stick. I'm less excited to see it than Bar of Soap. It allows you to direct your tiers, which is pretty lame. Hey, Book of Anarchy, okay, this thing used to suck, okay, because I used to suck at the game. But now that I'm better at the game, it's still just less exciting to me than getting a bar of soap, okay? I don't know, man. It's an active item that drops a bunch of bombs around the room, which to me is like, unless you have some crazy Curse of the Tower synergies with like crazy bombs and shit, which is just so rare. This thing is most of the time going to be a skip over, which is definitely belonging of the C tier. Apparently, Anemic gives you +5 range up. I actually didn't know that, but let's just pretend it doesn't so that I can give it the D tier. It's like a Headless Baby, but you got to take damage to actually use it. I hate this item. Speaking of hate this item, F tier, Angry Fly. Angry Fly is, you know what, actually, yeah, let's do it like that, alright? Angry Fly is the worst friendly guy ever. In fact, I want him to be removed from the game. Oh, you know, we wanted a mechanic where we have a fly following one of the guys. Dude, there's literally like 5 enemies in the room at a time, and this guy doesn't even do any damage. Like, you could put him in a swarm of flies, and he'll still, like, the flies will move, and he will move, and they will literally hit you by the time that he actually does something. I hate this item. Angry Fly, patch it out of the game. Next item, Angelic Prism, fun item, but I don't know, dude, it's so niche. You gotta like aim it perfectly to make it work. Anima Sola is so good against bosses. Like, this is such a strong item. I'm gonna put it in A tier because, again, something that takes up an item slot is it better be very good. And unfortunately, there are things that I think deal with bosses better than Anima Sola, but I still think that if I got this thing facing against something very scary, I'm usually very happy to see it. As well as, I mean, it works really well against big, scary enemies. Unk! Fuck this shit. I swear to God, literally, all I'm trying to do is unlock stuff. I don't want to die and become the blue baby. Like, please, for the love of God, stop showing up in my runs. This should be like a secret room item. Like, oh yay, I get to respawn as Blue Baby and not actually get a post-it mark for my run. Wow. Exciting. Like, this item sucks. It's literally like so much worse than Judas's Shadow because Blue Baby is just not a good character. It is like a sad fucking item to see. I don't think it should be patched out, but I definitely think it's F tier, and I'm always upset to see it. Anti-gravity tiers. It gives you a very good tiers up or whatever. It's like a tier delay down. I like this item, but I only like it because I like making tsunami waves where, you know, it's like enemies are chasing you and you just line up a bunch of tiers at once and then bah! It's fun, but it's not the most useful. It's a B tier item. I like it better than other people do because, you know, you can make it work. Actually, you know what? I've never won with this item. Yeah, I've never actually won with this item. Now that I think about it, it's actually more of a downside than an upside. Yeah, it makes it more difficult to hit enemies, and I don't like items that do that. But, you know, it can be fun if you make the best out of it. Flight. Dude, Flight is great. The active item, this Pony Boy, I think that this is great. I'm always so happy to see it. It ends up always, like, making it to the very end for me because it's a free flight item with boss. Like, it's a boss item that gives you flight, and I love that because usually it always works out. A Pound of Flesh. Wow, I'm sad I unlocked this. This is one of those items that I really wish I didn't unlock. The only benefit to it is, like... Yeah, I've never gotten this item and then made it worth it because I'm always, like... I always go into a shop and I'm like, wow, I really wish I had, money. And then whenever there's a Devil Deal item, I'm like, wow, I have no money. I really wish I could, buy something with, health. Yeah, never made this thing work. I'll put it in D tier because, you know, maybe one day I'll make it work. It's definitely not as bad as Unk. Alright. Scary Apple. I love huge damage ups. This is one of those. If you got some luck, you shoot out a ton of razors. The razors do a ton of damage. Aquarius got changed to where now it's a fun and very interactive item. Enemies now get, like, effects and stuff off of the tiers, and that makes it much more fun. I like items that are fun. It's a B tier item because I don't think that, you know, it's much like other types of creep where it's just not that useful. I prefer Aquarius because of the potential for some crazy synergies, but I just don't think it's that amazing. Look, I'm always happy to see a quarter, but, you know, it's not great. Ares! Ares is so niche, but when it's good, it's all right. I'm gonna give it a D tier because it's one of those items where whenever I get it, It's usually on accident because, like, I take the question mark item instead of the thing that's shown in the alt path, and then it's Ares, and I get a speed down, and then I'm trying to make it work, and I end up taking damage because of it. It's very niche, but when it works, it's okay. The speed down hurts too much, though. Any HP ups are pretty good in Repentance. I'm going to put them in B tier. Astral Projection. Okay, so Holy Mantle protects against the first hit. This one protects against the second hit. I think that I still think it's decent. Like, sure, Holy Mantle is like 1,000 times better, and I would definitely prefer to see Holy Mantle. But I still think that an item that allows you to just, like, have such an emergency, you know, whatever, is still decent. I don't think it's great, though. I thought it prevented the first hit of damage, but it doesn't, so it's not great. A Fame is pretty good. Apparently it had a chance to drop Black Hearts. Now it doesn't have that. I don't know, dude. I don't even have this item unlocked. It's a very good item. I probably should unlock it. I gotta beat Hush with Eve to unlock this item. Yeah, I don't know, man. I want to be able to use this item because it's so fucking good. Azazel's Rage. This thing gives you a super mega laser, which, bro, it's a super mega laser. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty good. That's S tier. Backstab. I think that this thing actually is okay. I thought it was terrible at first, but I just wasn't getting a whole lot of use out of it. It just makes enemies bleed, which helps deal damage. I thought that this thing amplified damage, but apparently it doesn't. It just, like, bleeds the enemy out for a little bit of its max HP. I'll give it a C tier. Ball of Bandages. They nerfed these projectiles, or these orbitals, so bad. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not good enough to use this item, so I'm just giving it a C tier because every time I try getting close to the enemy, I get hit. So I don't like items like this. Again, this is a very base tier list, okay? I don't fuck with this kind of shit. Sticky Ball of Tar. It makes your tears slow down enemies. I don't know, man. I'm never really happy to see it. I'll give it a D tier. Battery Pack. Why am I able to buy this thing? It's 15 bucks. The only time it's good is if you have a Satanic Bible, in which case it's still barely worth the $15 you spend on it, and it just drops shit batteries half the time. Big Beautiful Fly does a ton of damage, and I don't care what you say, man. I like Big Beautiful Fly. It deals 70 damage, and it respawns and keeps doing that 70 damage. And that is literally enough to, like, absolutely crush and destroy early bosses. This is actually a decent early boss killer. And they changed, like, room design so that this thing doesn't blow up in your face all the time. I actually think it's B tier worthy. Belly Button lets you hold an extra trinket. There's a couple of items in the game that do this. Extra trinkets, I mean, I guess it's okay. I guess I'll give it a B tier because, like, it's an effect, but I'm never really that happy to see it. Belly Jelly. Enemies that touch Isaac will now bounce off of him and fly in the opposite direction. Bounced enemies will take, I don't know, man. How often are enemies actually bouncing into you? So this is what Belly Jelly is, right? Like, he didn't take damage there, but he took damage there, right? So if you still occasionally take damage, then that's still, like, ruining Devil Deal chances, man. I gotta say, I don't know. I don't know much about this item, so take it with a grain of salt. I'm giving it the fucking D tier. Berserk. When activated, Isaac's tears are replaced with a bone sword, and it basically turns you into Tainted Samson. I don't know, man. It's an effect that's very niche, but it does its job. B tier. Something that helps you just clear out a room every once in a while. Yeah, it's a fun effect. It's niche. It works sometimes. Best Bud. This item's been very much buffed. Say you're in greed mode or something. Like, this thing goes fast as hell and deals a ton of damage. I think it's actually a decent fly protector. I'll give it C tier. This guy. This is Best Friend. Places a decoy on the floor, which attracts enemies and then explodes. And that explosion damage, it was buffed to be absolutely disgusting. The damage this thing does is borderline, like it's insane. It attracts the boss and then kills it instantly. I don't know. I like instant boss killers, so I'm gonna put it here. This thing, Betrayal. When you take damage, the entire room basically starts to fight each other. I don't know, man. Some people hate this shit, but considering the fact that I do take damage on occasion, it's nice to have something that basically automatically clears the room. BFF, love this item. I don't even care that sometimes it doesn't get a ton of use. Just the fact that it doubles every single, like, familiar. If you got a good familiar, this thing just carries the game. Big Chub. I honestly am very disappointed when I see this guy, but he's way more useful than any of these items. So I'm going to put him in C tier. Big Fat Fly, same thing with, you know what? I really don't like getting Big Fat Fly. I never actually use him for contact damage. I'm going to put him in D tier. Yeah, plus it does, like, no damage at all. It just takes up so much space and does, like, it's just frustrating. And rarely can I ever, like, feel like I'm actually blocking things with this either. Binge Eater. This is a pretty rare item. It causes all pedestal items to show up as rotating items that swap every 1 second between the original item and an HP up item. I've never actually seen this, but the effect sounds pretty good considering sometimes you actually need some HP up. I'm going to put it in B tier because it will allow you to take HP up when you find, say, Angry Fly or Able. Binky! It's a very good tiers up. I'll give it a B tier. Bird's Eye is an item that I think really only works if you have a very high tier rate, because usually I get this item and then like I'm always expecting a bunch of like flames to fire out, but it's very much just dependent on tier rate. But that being said, in most scenarios this thing you're pretty happy to see it. I would actually give it a B tier because I think that there's better flame items, but this thing is still like decent and it does its job okay. Birdcage, it's another item that does something when you take damage, but it doesn't even do that much. Birthright, this is a fun item. Not always the most useful, but it's fun, and it does, you know, increase the effectiveness on a lot of characters. Black Candle, I mean, fuck curses, dude. Curses are literally the worst. I hate every single curse in the entire game. I wish that they would just disappear. Stop giving me curse of the whatever. Okay, S+++++. Nah, it's at A tier. I'm gonna be honest, I get this item. It's a nice little piece of insurance, but it never carries it on its own. Black Hole, I never use this thing. I never pick it up. I never use it. It's going in C tier. Black Lotus, I don't know. It's okay. It gives you an HP up. It's better than an HP up. There's 2 Black Lotuses for some reason. Black Powder, this is a fun item. It allows you to spin in a circle and do spooky damage. I mean, I usually pick this thing up if I have a ton of speed. It's good for, like, clearing out swarm enemies, but I'm gonna be honest with you, like, rarely am I ever, like, happy to see this. It's just, like, it's okay. Card Mimic, again, this is a game-winning item right here. S+, I still think that if you get, like, yeah, like, you know what, no, it's an S tier. The fact that they made it so that you can't do the Jira stuff and you need a different item for that, it still is really good because, I mean, there are just some card effects that if you can use it 4 times per rune are just nuts. Nuts. The nuts. But, I don't know, man. If you don't get, like, Ace of Diamonds or something like that, then it's, like, not great. Blanket. It allows you to have a Holy Mantle effect when entering boss rooms. That means that you don't lose your Devil Deal when you're playing someone who can do whatever. It could be very useful in a lot of scenarios. Blood Bag, always happy to see this thing. A tier, speed up, full health, HP up, a lot better than a just straight up HP up. Blood Bag, I actually hate this thing more than a normal HP up, because why make it look like a bomb and not actually give me more bombs? You know, I actually would rather get this thing less, and this is of course personal bullshit preference. I'd rather have this, like, I'd rather have a bone than this shit. You know, nah, that's petty. Blood Clot, I don't know, it's good if you have soy milk. It sucks if you don't have soy milk. B tier, it's a little bit of a damage up. Blood Oath, I like this item a lot better than other people. I think that most of the time when I see and take this item, it's because I have like 50 soul hearts, though, or 50 hearts in general. But that being said, it's so niche. It's so niche, but it is a B tier item. I think if you need a damage up and you have like a lot of ways to heal, it could be very good. Another just damage up. Any damage ups are A tier or better. Just damage is so good in this game. Blood Puppy is a fun little cute item. He attacks enemies and then he gets all big and strong and you gotta calm him down with some nice bullshit. Blood Rights. This thing takes away 1 red heart and basically has that black heart effect, which, I mean, I don't know, man. I'd rather have pay to win than this thing. I just don't like anything that like it's an okay as like tool for like a big scary room, but you're giving away 1 red heart. You might as well just try to defeat the room and not take damage, you know? This thing is a get the hell out of here. Oops. Get the hell out of my game. I hate this item. Bloodshot Eye is just terrible. It does like 0.0 damage and fuck this item. Bye-bye. Bloody Guts is basically Bloody Rage, which is a pretty good item if you're willing to take damage, and Bloody Rage, whatever, same thing. Blue Baby's Best Friend Forever, A tier if you need damage. It's pretty good early game, but falls off, I think. Yeah, it does. I mean, it's good. It allows you to basically just do a bunch of damage without worrying too much. HP up plus some tears. I like it. It's better than getting just a regular HP up. I'll put this this thing here. Blue Map is one of the shop items I usually will buy. I put it up there with like Spelunker hat or whatever. It's like if you could buy like a good. It's basically being able. It's the only map item that's worth buying. Sure, I'll still occasionally buy treasure map or something, but that's usually because I have a lot of money and I would rather spend it than give it to charity. Bob's Brain, I'm starting to love this thing, though it's very situational, and because of that, because it can screw you over so much, I'll give it a B tier. But if you're very good with it, it can, you know, it can really, really benefit you. All bomb upgrades are going in B tier. Actually, they're going in C tier. I'm never actually happy to see them. But if they work out, they're pretty good. Bob's reusable bomb head, I'll put it same place with Bob's whatever brain, because it has a similar effect, except for this thing is, you know what, Bob's Brain is actually going in A tier, because it's rechargeable, reusable, and does just so much damage. Yeah, it does 100 damage. That is like actually insane. Also, they increased the delay so it doesn't just immediately explode in your face. Bob's Rotten Head apparently does like, oh my god, wait. The damage from this item was boosted from 50 damage to 185 damage. Okay, that thing is going in A tier. 185 damage is like the shit. That will destroy like any early game boss. That's really good. Double bombs, C tier. I don't know, man. Give me just 1+1 instead. This thing, I don't know, man. This is like a baby that follows you around and occasionally shoots out blood that does nothing. Bomb bag. This thing gives you a bomb every 2 rooms. Which is actually pretty good if you need bombs. I'll give it a B tier. I don't know, man. It's like you think it's shit, but then you say it. I was about to be like, oh, if you're excited. First of all, if you're excited to see bag of bombs, then you need to get yourself checked, okay? There's literally nothing exciting about this item. I'm always disappointed to get it. But that being said, the effect's okay. Bomberman makes bombs even better. This is a slightly better bomb effect than all the other shit bomb effects. Bone Spurs is fun. When you destroy an enemy, it leaves behind bones. It can occasionally be useful, but most of the time it's pretty useless. Book of Revelations. Go right into S+ tier. If I get a library early on and I get Book of Revelations, I'm basically like, welp, let's not lose this run because this is the best chance we have to win a run. I love Book of Revelations just for the extra soul heart every 6 rooms. That is an absurd effect that will carry you throughout the entire run. Book of Secrets, I always pick this up, but it always disappoints me. B tier. I don't know, man. Every time I get this, I get Curse of the Lost or Curse of the Blind or whatever. Yeah, Curse of the Lost, I think. And I always end up regretting it. Book of Shadows is great, but I always end up picking a different book over it, and I always feel bad about it. I also like Book of the Dead. I think that this is another item that is just so fun, and it's been like, it's like A tier. It's a very fun item, and I think it's very good early game, but it usually gets replaced by something else. Book of Virtues, S tier. It allows you to basically use, it's like an active item upgrade that gives you a wisp. If you find this thing in a regular run, it usually just like, it's like an upgrade to your current active item, which is so good, and if you don't have an active item, it's a pretty good one. 10 bombs. Wow, exciting. 10 bombs. I guess it's better than this shit, because it gives you double the bombs, which means more secret rooms. Booster pack. Stop giving me this thing. It gives you 1 good card, and then everything else sucks. It's lame. It's not fun. Defense drone. Way better than I ever expected it to be. This thing actually just, like, targets tiers getting shot at you and makes it so that there's less shit you have to dodge, and I like that. I like having to do less things throughout the game. Even though it's not like a fantastic item, I just, you know, it works. This is only good on Lilith. I hate seeing it as anyone else. Box of spiders, very good. I like having a box of spiders early on. You know, it just does a lot of damage. It spawns like 4 or 5 spiders, which will deal, it'll clear out a room, and you can use it every 2 rooms. Box of stuff. I enjoy getting it better than booster pack. Bozo. I don't know. I'm never happy to see this item, but it's okay, I guess. I'll give it a C tier. It basically gives you the world's smallest damage up, and occasionally you have a chance to drop rainbow shits. That could be extremely good if you have a ton of red hearts, but I never have a ton of red hearts. Breakfast is an HP up. Breath of Air. I literally have only like tried to use this thing once, and when I did, it just like screwed me over. Z tier. Why? This item is anti-fun. Any item that's anti-fun that I never would pick up, even if it was free, get rid of. I hate this. I hate the fact that I have to sit there for 6 seconds before I get 1 second of invincibility, which, by the way, I always screw up. And then I end up just like, honestly, I would rather have unicorn stump than this thing. Please, fix this item, make it fun to use, make it so, like, if I click it, like, the first time I use it, it's like a brief second of invincibility, and then it recharges like a regular recharge time or something. Please, that would make a lot more sense for this item, but the way it is, it's just like disgustingly painful to use. Brimstone Bombs is the best bomb effect in the game. So good you have to give up a heart for it. Brimstone, this thing got nerfed. I mean, much like Brimstone Bombs, you know, Brimstone's pretty good. One of the best items in the game. This thing gives you infinite range. It allows you to shoot through anything and everything. It's just insane. It synergizes with everything. I love this item. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is the best item. It's one of the best items in the game, by far. Brittle Bones. It removes all your heart containers and gives you 6 bone hearts. I don't know. It's useful if you have 0 bone hearts or you're playing as the Lost. But most of the time, anything that makes you question your existence, I don't like. They made Broken Modem so good. I see everybody taking this item. It's A tier. This shovel item's whatever. Broken Stopwatch occasionally slows down enemies, which I think is an okay effect. I'm never really too upset to pick this thing up. Brother Bobby, this thing was basically buffed. It's like, I don't know, I used to hate Brother Bobby, but if you get it as like a first item room, it kind of doubles your damage. If you're playing like Isaac or someone, it basically is like a double damage. Definitely something that gets underestimated because it's Brother Bobby, and yeah, I usually hate seeing it when I get it, but when I use it, it usually does its job and does enough for it being worth being B tier. Brown Nugget, this thing creates infinite flies that will shoot at the room. I honestly, like, if you get this thing in greed mode, it's S+ tier, because you can just like sit there and just make a million fucking turrets and then just win the game before the game starts, which is fun. But of course, greed mode doesn't mean anything, and most of the time this thing is just frustratingly bad. Yeah, I don't know, man. Infinite turrets sounds a lot better when you don't have to factor in the fact that if you get Brimstone, you clear rooms instantly. So yeah, you can just sit there and create turrets all you want, but I'll be out here actually winning the game and clearing rooms. Lard, speed down is actually worse, but I mean, look, double hearts is good, but the speed down just makes it really, really painful. Buddy in a Box, they changed this thing to look a lot cooler. It's like a decent familiar, much like Brother Bobby. Bumbo. Bumbo is going into B tier for Bumbo. I don't know, man. If you're not looking to collect money, it's okay. It's like a guy who occasionally drops bombs. You know what? I'm actually going to put it in C tier. I don't know, man. Bumbo, Hey, stop booing at me, okay? Bumbo's not that good. Bum friend right here. Bumbo, whatever. Please remove this guy. Same thing with Keybum. Alright, where's Keybum? I'm going to literally search out Keybum. Remove these guys. They're terrible. That being said, though, Dark Bum's great. When we get to Dark Bum, I love Dark Bum. But no, these guys, they take, it's like, oh, I can't spend my own money? Like, I need someone to spend money for me? Like, what the fuck is the point of these guys? They literally are never useful. Bursting Sack. I gave your mom a bursting sack last night. You know what I'm saying? Most spiders no longer do any damage to you, which is, okay, I guess. It's a D tier effect. It's like, I don't know. I'm never happy to see it, but it exists, and I'm like, whatever. Butt bombs are good. They're actually better than most other bombs because they do like a ton of room damage. And if you have a ton of bombs, this is like a Necronomicon effect, funny enough. So don't let the piece of shit fool you. This is actually pretty good. Butterbean, Z tier. I don't care that it got buffed. I'm never using it. Oh wait, apparently Butterbean now knocks back enemies and projectiles with significantly more force, and if they hit a wall, they take damage. That could be a good early game, I guess, if it's your only item, but I still think it's like F tier. I don't know. I would never want to actively go out of my way to try pushing an enemy into a wall. Caffeine Pill, I think speed ups are great in this game. I actually would probably give like every speed up an A tier. Dodging in this game is very difficult, especially now with the alt floors where just enemies are so much harder. And shot speed, like the enemy shot speed on hard mode has just been increased to kingdom fuck. So, speed is great, A tier. Cambion Conception, this thing, if you get it on Lilith throughout an entire game, A tier. It will get you like 50 different guys to help you out, but it all is very dependent on where you get it, and because of that, I'm going to give it a C tier. Because it's not something I ever would want to just pick up. Camo Undies, F tier. Maybe in like early Isaac this is useful, I don't know, it like... I guess, you know what, actually it should be C tier. Because anything that would allow you to just like go into a room and figure it out before anything attacks you is pretty good. It allows you to like position yourself, but I don't care. I never pick it up. Cancer. Cancer is like a slightly, it's kind of like wafer. I don't know. I like items that when you take a hit give you a wafer effect, because that's nuts. I mean, if you're on a final boss, this is going to be your best friend and basically win you the game. But it's not S plus tier because it doesn't win the game on its own. I would honestly say it's S tier. Candy Heart is a brand new item that I've yet to get any value out of. I want to get a run with like Tainted Maggie or someone with a Candy Heart. And I want to see this thing in full action. I feel very upset that I haven't been able to do that. However, every time I see this, I'm actually really happy to see it, and I always want to make it work, so I'm going to give it an A tier. Even though I don't think it's the greatest thing ever, because the stat increases are very tiny. If you can get a ton of them, they do add up, and permanent stat increases are always very good. Capricorn is so nutty. I love this item. I love getting this item. It's S plus tier. There's no downside to it. You get HP up, every stat up, including speed, damage, like everything. This thing just gives you everything. I love items that give you everything. I don't know why the Capricorns are so like so beloved and they get, you know, like special privileges, but to be honest, this item deserves it. Car battery doubles your active. In Repentance, this is actually so good because active items are so good. So anytime I see car battery, I'm very happy. I've had runs with Satanic Bible with this, where it just gives me 2 black hearts, and then I also had something that made me recharge faster. So literally, I was like invincible the entire run because I could just constantly get 2 black hearts every like 5 rooms or so. Even on a shit item, this is good. Just double active effect is incredible when active effects are so good in this game. Card reading. This is an item that I had a run where I was doing the victory lap thing where you have to like play through 3 times, and I had this. It allowed me to skip through to the boss every single time. It lets you get free secret rooms. It lets you automatically transport yourself to item rooms. It's like a free card it's like a free Emperor card, a free Moon card, and a free item room card at the start of each floor, and I love that. I actually think the effect, sure, it's a shop item. You have to also remember that. So you won't get in an item room, but you can buy this effect, and I think that this is a good item for like showing how shops are supposed to work, because they're supposed to give you an effect like this that like is like a boost, an upgrade. And I like this. I just really like this effect. Kane's Eye. This thing got buffed, but it still sucks. D tier. I don't know. I'm never happy to see it. I'm always like, oh, is that triple eye? Nope. It's Kane's other eye. The dog shit eye. Any damage up is, of course, A tier. That's just a decent damage up. Celtic Cross. When you take damage, you occasionally become invincible. This is pretty good when you're up doing like donation machines and stuff. I mean, the fact that it is an angel room item makes it suck, but if you get in an item room, I mean, you'll find yourself being pretty happy when you're doing donation machines with this thing. That's pretty much all it's really good for. But that's another I mean, look, I pick up Unicorn Stump whenever I see it, and I have no items, so, you know, it's that kind of effect. It's just slightly worse because it's more reliant on RNG. Because of that, I'm actually going to give it a C tier. I don't know. I've made it work before, but it's very niche. Sensor is pretty good. It's like it slows down all the tears around you. I like it. I like an effect that, I don't know, makes it just easier to dodge everything around you. So yeah, you can put out a ton of damage and not worry too much about tears. You can just keep backing up as they keep approaching. Yeah, it's an A tier item. Good defensive item. Damage up, challenge up. Oh yeah, first of all, black robes. I mean, this is actually S tier. I love getting this thing off the Demon Beggar. I'm always happy to see this. Big damage up, tons of black hearts. Just overall, just such a good item. Such a good time. Challenge up. This is like it's a reasonable damage up. Whatever. Chaos, I'm gonna put in Pill Nation tier because it's just, you know, it's fun. It doesn't do anything, but it's fun, and that's what I like about it. It basically randomizes all the item pools, meaning you can get a godhead out of a shop or something crazy like that, even though that never actually happens. It's fun. It's Pill Nation tier. Next, we got Battery Baby. This thing is an active item upgrade. I like active item upgrades, A tier, because, again, Book of Revelations, something crazy like that, just wins you the game. Charm of the Vampire. It's very niche. I'm going to put it in D tier. Sometimes it works. Most of the time it doesn't work. Chemical Peel, slight damage up, but again, it's like Blood Clot. It's actually better than Blood Clot, though. I'm going to put it in A tier. I like the fact that it's a +2 damage up. Chocolate Milk is fun, but not very good. I'm going to be honest. I usually pick this thing up, and I'm like, well, it's good, but it just, like, struggles. Like, your DPS ends up struggling, because usually you get a very high tier rate, and you end up just, like, firing big shots that... I don't know, man. I guess it's just, like... It just feels weird to use. It's like you have to charge the shots for them to be like really good, and sometimes I just don't want to do that. I think it's an A tier item, but it's just not all that fun, honestly. Circle of Protection gives Isaac a large white halo that deals a bit of damage to enemies in contact with the ring. Every time an enemy bullet enters, there's a chance it'll reflect. I don't know, man. This thing's okay, I guess. B tier or C tier. It's like sometimes it does something, but most of the time I would much rather prefer a different angel item. This is a rune replicator, clear rune. When used, it copies the effect of a rune, much like Blink Card. It has a recharge time of whatever. Yeah, but the problem is like the Sola Yara or whatever, just, dude, I don't know. Whatever they did to runes, it ain't the same anymore, you know? This thing's, I'm just gonna put it next to the Blank Card, but it ain't the same anymore, okay? Clicker! I'm never happy to see this shit. I'm gonna put that in the, please, for the love of God, what the hell tier. If you're using this item, it's because you have everything unlocked and you're just going nuts. Which, of course, I don't, so I never pick it up. I don't know, man. It's niche. I guess if you're like a streamer who plays this game non-stop and you have everything unlocked, it's like, oh, cool, clicker. But for everyone else, it's going to be a pain in the ass. Compost. This is literally like Guppy's head, but like a million times worse. I don't know. Maybe I'm just using it wrong, but it literally turns like every pickup in the room into a blue spider or fly or whatever. But like, I would much rather have just like a half a fucking red heart laying on the ground in case I find a donation machine than a single red fly or a single fly at all. This thing most of the time is quite literally Guppy's head, but it just gives you one fly every 2 rooms. I hate this item. I think it needs to be changed. Oh, but it actually does double the amount of flies and spiders you have, which I guess if you're doing a fly and spider build, it's okay. But again, it's like if you're already doing good, what's the point of having compost? Like, I just think that you're going to have a better active item by the time you find this thing. Until I find a winning run with this thing, I just don't believe in it. It's like, if you have a ton of spiders and flies, you better hope that they don't just, like, disappear in one room. But if they do, I mean, it's like, look at this. You see, it's like, if you have an unrealistic amount of spiders and flies, then yeah, it can, like, absolutely snowball out of control. But what happens when you lose the flies? Well, better hope you have like Guppy's head or something. I don't know, man. I'm a little salty because sure, it looks good here, right? But I think in practice it just doesn't work out. I won't give it F tier, but I'll give it a C tier. I think it's just too niche. Compound Fracture turns your tier into bones which shatter into smaller bones. The small bones deal damage equal to half your normal tier damage. It's good. It's like a damage up. That it kind of works like Cricket's body, but I definitely would prefer Cricket's body. Cone Head. Each time you take damage from any source, you have a 20% chance to reduce it. Or it's like, it basically 20% chance to, any damage you take, 20% chance to mitigate it, which is pretty good. It's not great. I honestly wouldn't put it in A tier because I think that, like, you know, sure, it works really well, like, later on, but if you get this thing early game, you're going to struggle a lot, and I would much rather have, like, a strong offensive item early on. Consolation Prize. This is a brand new item that I actually really enjoy. I think that it's also an item that if you get it with like Tainted Isaac, I believe you can just pick it up and exchange it and it still gives you the stat up. It increases your lowest like stat, making it so that if you're slow as shit, it makes you go a little faster. If you have no damage, you gain damage. I actually really enjoy seeing this, and I think it's one of the better boss items just because it helps round you out. Contagion, this makes it so that when the first enemy you kill, you start like killing other enemies around it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good room clear. Good early on. It's like between B and A tier. I like it. I like items that make it easier to just like not die from crazy rooms of enemies, because I think that learning boss patterns is easy, but it's not as easy to learn the patterns of rooms like full of like enemies in the dross or something. And something like this will make it so that if you're getting swarmed, it'll be a lot easier to survive. Continuum tiers, it's cute, but it does nothing. Contract from below doubles pickups and chests from clearing a room. It's a decent effect. B tier. Converter, this thing has been upgraded so that if you have an entire thing of like blue hearts, you can make it into an entire thing of red hearts, which by the way is fucking nuts. This thing is A tier. The changes they made to it, it's so good. In fact, it's almost S tier actually. I think that the effect it gives, I mean, the fact that red hearts drop so often, if you really need the defensiveness of this, and especially with like some of these other like red heart items, if I see a converter and I have a lot of soul hearts, usually I'm like, holy shit. Like, I just got like 5 health upgrades. And considering there's so many ways to heal health, I don't know, man, I just think it's great. I'm always very happy to see it, and most of the runs that I win are because I picked up this item. Coupon sucks, because I always get a discounted 5-cent item and it's got a 6-room charge. I don't know, man, I never have problems with money. Why would I ever need coupon? It's like, oh yeah, I occasionally get a free key. You know, that's so great. I mean, I guess if you can make it work, it's B tier, but I've never made it work. It's C tier for me. Cracked orb, taking damage reveals a random room on the minimap and automatically opens certain doors in the current room. Possible doors, bro. When is this ever going to be useful? Honestly. Like, oh great, you take damage, you get to reveal a room on the map. Ooh, that's so much better than getting a permanent damage up. Cracker Jacks, B tier. Crack the Sky. This is an A tier item. I like items that make it very easy to kill the boss, much like with this this best friend enemy. This thing just does a ton of damage. It's a boss killing item, makes life very easy. Cricket's Body, S tier. Every time I get this item, I'm so goddamn happy. It does, like, the extra shots just deal so much damage. Like, unlike Split Shot, this thing will hit the enemy like many times. Like, it's such a huge damage increase when you're able to, like, hit every single tier. And every time I get it, like, I destroy bosses. I don't know, man. This thing just, it's so good. Sure, it gives you, like, a range down. Boo-hoo, you know? Boo-hoo. For the effect it gives, it's absolutely worth it. Cricket's Head. I mean, it's S+ tier. The amount of damage this thing gives is just absurd. And, like, you're never upset to see something that just multiplies your damage so heavily. Crooked Penny is some bullshit. It's like a C tier item. If you're willing to be patient and just go nutso, it can be really fun. But most of the time, I mean, the odds are against you. It's literally the odds are against you with this item. So if you're a crazy gambling man, it's fun, but most of the time it's eh. Crown of Light, S tier. I think it's not S+ tier because if you take damage, you're completely screwed. And usually in big boss fights you take damage, but most of the time this item's pretty fucking nuts. It's actually like borderline S+ tier. I definitely put it above everything else. It's one of the best items, like, for just overall everything. Actually, you know what? If I give Cricket's Head, yeah, it's S+ tier. It doubles your damage. It just straight up doubles your damage. And if you take damage, sure, you lose it, but you'll get so much out of it before that. Crystal Ball, very rare item to get, but I'm always so happy. This thing is actually like a S+ tier. It gives you so much shit. It reveals the entire map and then will give you sometimes a soul heart or whatever. I mean, the map effect plus a soul heart every 6 rooms. It's a 6-room charge is pretty nutty. It's pretty fucking insane. I still think that the guaranteed chance of a soul heart is better, but this thing, again, is like very top of S tier. C-section, it makes it so that a scary fetus pops out of your body. This is the effect of Alt Lilith, and I don't know, man, I mean, Alt Lilith is pretty strong. Oops, for a second I thought everything was gone. Yeah, that scared the shit out of me. I clicked the button, and for a second I thought my whole tier list was gone, and I was about to really freak out. C-section, I guess A tier. Or S tier. I don't know. I've never seen this thing on any other character, but for Alt Lilith, it's great. The evil fetus does like so much damage. Ice Cube. I guess today was a good day. It's a very fun familiar. You kick it around, it does some stuff. It's okay. It's better than Angry Fly. Cube of Meat, I'll put it next to Ball of Bandages. It's basically the same thing. I never get close to the enemies. And then this thing, like if you get 4 of them in a boss room, or in a row from boss rooms, you're always upset. Piercing tears are amazing. Such a great effect. I think people overrate it though, because you eventually usually get a piercing tear effect. So regular piercing tears, I mean, it's great, but I mean, nah, it's pretty great. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, piercing tear is great. Cursed Eye, fuck this item, F tier. But if you're playing as the Lost, it's okay, so D tier. But if you're not playing as the Lost, ouch. Curse of the Tower. Believe it or not, I'm a Curse of the Tower fan. I used to think that this was the worst item in the game, but it literally gives you an Anarchist Cookbook effect when you take damage, which is a lot different than, like, revealing a square on the map. Filling the entire room with bombs in a boss room is like 500 damage to the boss when you take damage. And that can be repeated, and it can almost, like, if you have a ton of health and, like, damage resistance, it almost alone can guarantee a boss kill just on its own. For like a crazy ass boss. I think that Curse of the Tower is very underrated. D100 is wacky, but the chances that you actually get some crazy shit, especially with the nerfs, is very low. The fact that unlike D Infinity, the effects are just so like hit or miss. It's, I don't know, man. As sometimes it works out, but I usually use it like once or twice and then end up dropping it. Reroll enemies, so fun. Literally completely practical, like no practicality at all. Reroll rocks. Wow, sometimes I give up an active item slot to occasionally roll a rock into something not a rock. So good. Cracked dice can be game breaking or just completely worthless, but I don't know, you get a good card, you keep just repeating it over and over and over again. I think cracked dice is pretty good. D20, possibly game breaking, most of the time just a decent little reroll item that can change your things. I'm gonna put this also next to the other D whatever. I'm actually gonna put this above D100. No, I'm gonna put this and D100 here. They allow you to basically roll until you're very good, which now that I think about it, it's pretty good. This thing lets you restart rooms, blah, 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 blah. It takes up an active item slot and doesn't do much. Same with this thing. It rerolls your stats. Oh, wow. Ooh. Sometimes you get more stats, sometimes you get less. I've gotten some good shit with this, but most of the time I'm very disappointed. Dad's Key opens up doors, good for getting into very difficult challenge rooms, which, funny enough, considering I never have 1 HP, is a decent effect. But it's definitely C tier because other active items are so much better. Dad's Lost Penny. Wow. Gives me, a lucky coin. So good. 1 luck up. Really, wow, so good. Dad's Note. Okay. Now we got this circle, this halo of whatever. You get this from a secret room, and it's basically like, it's like this fear item over here, except for it's more meme-ish because they just immediately stop in place. Put it right next to this guy because it does almost the exact same thing, except for worse. Actually, because of that, I'm going to give it a B tier. I don't know. Sometimes I'm happy to see this, but I'd rather have the enemies run away so that it doesn't have to get to that point. Daddy Longlegs, a very good familiar, but again, it's a familiar, but it is better than all these other ones because it automatically attacks things. Damocles, this is a fun item. When used, the sword basically goes above your head, spawns an extra pedestal item for every item spawned, meaning you can get a ton of things, but after you get hit, it has like a chance to fall, and it's just terrifying. This thing scares the living shit out of you. Just don't get hit, forehead. Just don't get hit. I don't know, it's a fun item, but it's so niche, and if you die from it, you feel very bad. It's something you very rarely ever pick up, but, you know, sometimes it's fun. Dark Arts is fantastic. It's such a good active whatever. I just love the effect of it. It's so quick. It comes up so quickly. Rarely ever are you not, like, using this thing. Dark Bum, it got nerfed, but it's still S tier. I don't care, dude. Dark Bum still does Dark Bum things. Plus, sometimes it drops pills, so it's borderline Pill Nation tier. I like the fact that it drops black hearts because those clear out rooms, making it easier to do whatever. So, if anything, I think that it's gotten, like, a slight buff. But sure, the nerf's a little hard with dropping trinkets or dropping pills instead of black hearts, which always hurts and always sucks. So even though it's nerfed, because before it was S plus tier, it's basically game winning. Now it's just whatever. Fear Shot's an incredible damage up, S plus, or just S tier. Dark Prince's Crown, I've never seen this thing, and no one's ever talked about it in a positive way. C tier. Data Miner, wow. They want me to do what to a miner? Huh? Huh? You know what I'm saying? This item sucks. Alright, Dead Crow. This item also sucks. This is D tier. If you take damage, it spawns a tiny crow which kills flies, which is okay. 9 lives. So overrated. This thing is only good on the Lost. Every other character, I despise this thing. I can't defeat them. I can't defeat Mother. I can't defeat the Beast with one heart. In fact, every time I die with this item, I so heavily like feel bad because it's like because I just don't want to play on one heart, and it feels like such a grind and such a disappointment when I die. And I have to restart and like grind and try to like not die just so that I can scrape my way to the end of a run. I don't like the feeling of this, and I'd much rather have just other shit than this. Flight is an incredible effect. Anything that gives you flight is S tier. I think that flying over enemies and shit just allows you to have so much like mobility, which is such a defensive option. Accuracy equals power. This thing doesn't work with Brimstone. Why? Why does this thing not work with Brimstone? It's a damage up, but you got to keep hitting the enemy, which is actually a lot harder than it sounds because most enemies are programmed in this game to dodge bullets, so you end up missing all the time. This is technically piercing shots, but I think it's worse than piercing shots because even though it's nice, it like floats over everything. It's toxic aura tears. It's a good item, but it doesn't win any runs on its own, and it needs a lot of stuff to make it work. Dead Sea Scroll, stop giving me this thing. I always have an active item when I see it. Stop giving me it. It's C tier. Random active item. Oh wow, so cool. It's actually so unpredictable. It's basically Z tier. The existence of it is necessary in this game because it's like an Eden effect, you know, where it just kind of needs to exist, but it sucks. Halitosis, much like Cube of Whatever, I hate getting close to enemies enough to poison them, but it does help out early game. Death's List is fun. I like this item, except for the fact that most of the time you always fail, even when you're trying as hard as possible with like a perfect build designed to specifically target one enemy at a time and wipe them out with flight, like playing Azazel or something. There's enemies that just spawn more enemies, and then all of a sudden Death's List does nothing. But I mean, honestly, this thing, it's like A tier. I actually pick this up every time I see it. Because when it does give you like a damage up or a soul heart for beating a room, it's actually amazing. Death's Touch. It gives you everything you would want from piercing tears plus a huge damage up. The tears are gigantic and it's so fun. I love Death's Touch. It's an automatic pickup every single time for me. Sure, it gives you a little tears down, but I mean, let's be fair. By the time you see this thing, you're going to eventually get like all your tears back. I honestly think it's S tier. I don't think it's Brimstone rank because I think Brimstone is just like Brimstone allows you to just turn your brain off. This doesn't. And yes, I do think that Cole is still like S plus tier after all of this stuff, in case anyone was wondering. Death Certificate. If you find this thing, congratulations. First of all, if you have this thing unlocked, then Jesus Christ, like you play this game too much. This item gives you any item you want. S plus tier, duh. Decap Attack. This is one of those items that actually, like, I was playing the Nothing Matters challenge or whatever, the crazy ass challenge. You guys know the one. The one that's invisible. You start off with TM Trainer. Yeah, I won it because of this item. So because of that, I'm gonna give it a B tier. But honestly, I haven't unlocked it. It seems pretty good. It deals 24 damage and it recharges every 4 seconds. Honestly, it's like A tier. That sounds like a really good active item. I mean, 24 damage is a lot of damage. Card Generator. Cards are pretty good. I'll give it an A tier. It's not game winning on its own, but it will help you out a lot throughout the run. Deep Pockets is fun, but very useless, as getting 999 money doesn't ever really do anything, ever, and you'll never get there. And sure, the extra coins are helpful, but this thing is just whatever. Delirious, when used, spawned a charmed random white delirium version of a boss that will fight for you and kill other enemies for the rest of the room. It charges for 12 rooms and does basically something like, sure, maybe it's good for like a final boss, but I've never actually taken this thing to a final boss room because I usually am like, wow, this thing has 12 rune charges, and why would I give up my Crack the Sky for this thing? I'm never actually happy to see this. I'm actually always so disappointed to see it that I'm going to give it a D tier. This is one of those. This item is one of the reasons why Afterburst Plus was so bad. You know, because it's like, oh wow, Delirium was such a fun fight. You know, and the item you get is just, it's so great, so great, so wonderful. Demon Baby. This thing does a lot of damage. It shoots very quickly. It's a decent familiar, except for the fact that I think you got to get it in Devil Rooms, which yeah, no, I would never want this in a Devil Room. C tier. Depression. I gotta deal with this thing on a daily basis anyways. I don't know, sometimes it does some stuff, but most of the time it's just, it's a worse version of Creep. I'm also gonna give Delirious C tier. It's not D tier. I just hate it. That's why I think it's bad. Dog food. It's dog food. It's HP up. I'm gonna be honest, every time I look for this item I can't find it. I feel like I've tried searching for this infinity item so many times. I don't actually know how to find this thing. Oh, this is the D Infinity. This thing got reworked. That's why I can't find it. The new D Infinity is incredible. Basically, it makes, like, it breaks the game. However the fuck you want to break the game, this thing breaks the game. The new D Infinity effect is basically, it gives you any dice you want. So if you want to reroll once with the D whatever, the D4, then you can get so broken with that. Then you can just use it as a D6 and reroll pedestal items for the rest of your life. This thing's incredible. Diplopia, I love it. Every time I see this thing, I get so excited. It allows you to duplicate an item for 15 bucks, and I think that's such a cool effect. It leads to so many fun things. I'm always happy to see it. I'm going to give it S tier. It's not game winning, but it usually can result in some really fun stuff. Poop Friend, makes poops friendly and whatever and shit. I'm going to give it B. If you want an army of poops, it's actually, it's like SS plus tier with Blue Baby, Tainted Blue Baby, but without that, it's whatever. Distant Admiration gives Isaac flies with an orbiting fly which deals contact damage. It's basically just an attack fly, which is actually pretty helpful. It's not that bad. This is this new item that gives you like this divine double tap shield. I think it looks pretty cool, but I don't know how useful it is. I guess I'll give it A tier because it's like a badass angel deal shield item. Again, I don't know how useful it is, so take that one with a grain of salt. Divorce Papers is like an incredible tears up. It gives you a bone heart. Actually, this thing's great. It gives you a bone heart, it gives you tears up, and it gives you like a missing page or whatever, which it's like 3 effects in one. So much better than just a regular tears up, but definitely not game winning on its own in any regard. This is an Airstrike, which is pretty good. It's a pretty good active item. You use it every 2 rooms. I like it. B tier. Dogma. I don't know, man. I mean, it's a fucking amazing item. Sure, S plus tier. But like, you know, you gotta beat Dogma for it, and it's unobtainable. I don't know, I'll put it in Z tier for now, because it doesn't actually really exist. Dogtooth. This is an item that gives you some a little bit of stats, but also whenever you enter a room with a secret or a crawl space, it'll let you know, which I think is awesome. I think that this actually is very resourceful, and I'm very happy to see it. I would think this is a very good item, even if it just revealed secret rooms and crawl spaces, but the fact that it gives damage and speed makes it a very good pickup, and I'm usually very happy to see it. Dreamcatcher makes it so that going through the alt path is an amazing idea as well. I actually always buy this thing when I see it, because it makes it so I can go through the alt path, and if both options suck, I can skip and go to a planetarium. I think that this item is actually really, really, really good. Dr. Fetus. This is, of course, a game-winning item. You drop bombs, and they even buffed this thing so that it's a lot easier to use. Sometimes this thing can ruin your run, but honest to God, like, if you see Dr. Fetus, it's basically an instant run winner. Unless, of course, you're me and you suck at the game, which, in that case, it actually is more like an S tier. It gives you infinite bombs, basically, which is an incredible effect, but I'd say the only downside is like against really big bosses with like boss armor and stuff. It just becomes like way less useful. But I don't know, man. It's like infinite destruction of the entire floor kind of makes up... but look, most of the times when I die, it's because of enemy rooms. It's not because of bosses, and I think this makes you suffer greatly against that. And because of that, I wouldn't put it up next to these run winners. I think that this requires like you to really turn your brain on, as opposed to some of these other ones, which are brain off items. Dry Baby is actually a pretty decent effect if you're good enough to use it, which I'm not, so it's B tier. Duality. This is basically a do-nothing item that I never pick up. Anytime there's a devil or angel room, basically anytime a devil or angel room door opens after a boss, the other one will also spawn. The extra door will only spawn if blah 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 blah. After entering one of the doors, the other will disappear. Bro, what the fuck is the point of this shit? Get rid of this. Like who cares? Like what? Am I really so like I really need to take both? Like, oh, ooh. I don't know. I'm literally never happy to see this thing. I'll give it a D tier. It basically does nothing. Same with Dull Razor. This thing used to do stuff, but bro, there's so many like conditions you need to make Dull Razor actually work. It seems so impractical. Echo Chamber. When using a pill or a card, Echo Chamber activates one of every pill type and card type that has previously been used since obtaining Echo Chamber. Wait. What the fuck? How does this work? Wait. I've never actually seen this. Oh wow, holy shit. So Echo Chamber does seem absolute... Oh my god, what the fuck? Wait, this item's so bullshit. Wait. This seems kind of busted. I don't know, man. Is that just me, or is this... You know what? Wow. Dude, Echo Chamber looks like the most insane thing I've ever seen in my entire life. S+ tier. Actually, it's Pill Nation tier, because it lets you basically infinitely repeat pills. So Echo Chamber. E. coli. I'm never happy to see this thing. It basically gives you the poop touch, which is not a good effect. I mean, it's like sometimes a good effect, you know? If you're playing like Tainted Mag, I don't know. It's so niche. It's so shit. I'm always upset when I see it. Look, I like this item, Eden's whatever. This thing gives you a new item when you enter another run, as well as like a tears up, a good stat up, whatever. Eden's Soul. This thing is actually pretty cool. It's whatever. It gives you 2 free item rooms as well, as long as you're willing to be patient with it. Empty Heart. Empty Heart upon entering a new floor. If you have 1 red heart or less, another one's added. I don't know. It's like a perpetual HP up effect, and it's not that hard to get, so I'm going to put it in A tier. I think it's very concerning the fact that I don't actually have the Empty Vessel unlocked, but it seems like a pretty good item from what I'm seeing. So I'll give it an S tier. It's not too hard to actually get the requirements to make this thing work. Epic Fetus is a much better version of Dr. Fetus, and I definitely prefer Epic Fetus, as the airstrikes are just absolutely bullshit and insane. I mean, the missiles deal so much damage. Like, they just deal absurd amounts of damage, and there's so many, like, different combos with Epic Fetus. Truly, it is the ultimate S+ item. Epiphoria. I thought this item sucked until I had a crazy-ass run recently, which I'll show you guys. Yeah, no, this item, the fact that it allows you to break the tears cap makes it good. It means that you can basically double your damage at any point. It sucks with a couple of combos, but for the most part, if you can make this thing work, it's pretty fantastic. It is, though, like something you need other stuff with, like Jacob's Ladder or something that makes it so that it's less painful for you to be inaccurate. I'm going to give Eraser a C tier. It's a fun effect, but honestly, it's like, it doesn't really help you out throughout a run that much, because you can delete like a fly, but by the time you get to the next floor, there's brand new enemies, you know? It's like, it's very niche. I have no clue what the hell this item is, and I don't actually know where to find it. It looks like it's something inside of a jar, but I don't know what exactly that something is. Eternal D6. Let's do this, considering I don't know what the hell this is. Or maybe it's another... Yeah, I don't know what this is. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm throwing it in Z tier. I've never seen it. I just don't know what it is, so I'm not even gonna fucking try. Eternal D6. This is a fun ass item. Sure, sometimes you lose an item, but most of the time it's pretty good. I would definitely prefer a D6 that doesn't delete my items, but the fact that you can use this so frequently makes it actually absolutely incredible, because if you're using it on an item, the item should suck anyways, and you shouldn't want to take it, and the chance of it disappearing is only actually 30%, which sounds scary, but re-rolling it into something better is almost always going to be worth it. This item guarantees angel rooms, which I'm going to be honest is so much better than guaranteeing devil rooms. I'm giving it S tier. You will find so much good shit from that. Euthanasia. I'm talking euthanasia like kids in Taiwan. It's an okay tier effect. Doesn't really do a whole lot. Eve's Mascara, F tier. Sure, sometimes it works, but the fact that it just doesn't literally like nothing. It's literally just adjust some stats. It's good with like fly builds or something like that, but it's just like, I don't know, it literally is not very all that useful. Everything jar is fun. I'll give it an A tier. I don't really know how this thing works, but I guess it can give you like golden keys and bombs, but the pickups seem like it just seems a little too balanced. That's the only thing I'll give it. Is sure, if you need exact things it's okay, but it's pickups and stuff, you know, it's not going to win you the game. Evil Charm. It gives you two luck up, and you no longer take damage from poison effects, and you become immune to fear and confusion. I think it's just good for the luck effect. I'll give it an A tier. It's like a double luck up, as well as the other effects. Okay, actually, you know, it's B tier. Luck is not going to win you any games. Eye Shot got buffed. Evil Eye Shot or whatever. This thing now shoots eyes more frequently, but still the eye shots are not great. Experimental Treatment. I always hate seeing this thing, and I would honestly most of the time just never take it. I'm giving it F tier. I only take it if I need a sponge transformation, but this thing always screws me over. That being said, though, I did get a run as the Forgotten where it gave me like a massive damage up, and then I found Polyphoria and had like 50 damage per swing. That was pretty fun, so I guess I'll give it C tier. Yeah, sponge transformation. It's a lot better than Adrenaline in my opinion. Explosive O Shot. I hate the fact that these shots like you know, never actually deal damage, and they are only good against like boss enemies, but they do their job pretty well against bosses and enemies that need it's good if you need extra damage, I guess. Eye Drops is a tears up. Let's go a little faster with this. Eye of Belial. Eye of Belial is good. It turns your tears after they hit an enemy into homing, but I just think that is a little too late. Like, sure, it's just not that great because it doesn't do anything until your tears hit an enemy, which, I mean, sure, it's like, oh, it's piercing shot, but I don't know, man. It's one of those things you got to give 2 hearts for, and I'd much rather have a piercing heart that I don't have to, or a piercing shot that I don't have to give 2 hearts for. I have Greed. I honestly, this thing, I don't even know how the fuck this thing's ever useful. I have the Coat. B tier. Yeah, it's a damage up that's not an A tier. I think that this is actually like the only good thing about this is the damage up, and the actual effect is terrible, and it costs 2 hearts. Sure, it's like good with brimstone and stuff, but it's niche, and I hate seeing it, and sometimes I just don't pick it up because it's miserable. More eyes is more damage on occasion. B tier. Look, controversial opinion, I love false PhD. I think that the negative effects just do like very little, if anything. Like sometimes you just lose a little bit of range, but actually, you know what? Pill Nation. False PhD, Pill Nation tier for sure. I actually really like false PhD. I like the fact that yeah, I like the fact that it makes tears like, or it allows me to take any pill I want, which you know, maybe, you know, my doctor says it's not a good idea, but, you know, the damage up is telling me differently. I like the fact that it constantly gives you damage and hearts and stuff for pills, and definitely makes pills a lot better. Pillation, bitches. Shit. This is taking so long. What have I done? If I start, do I have to finish? Fanny pack. When you get hit, you drop some stuff. I don't know. I've never actually gotten anything good from this because I usually give up the run before I ever get any value out of it. This is Fart Baby, I believe. Fart Baby is the worst thing ever on the entire planet. It's It basically blocks tears and occasionally farts. It's F tier. I swear to God, I wish I could unlock this guy. You have to get this by beating Hush with Isaac. This is your reward. This is your reward for that. 5 bombs or 5 bombs. I don't really... It's bombs. Bombs. Fate's reward. A familiar blue head that will follow Isaac and do tears copying his damage. It's very familiar to Incubus. However, it only copies damage and is not affected by anything else. I don't know. This thing seems alright. I've never actually seen this, nor do I have it unlocked, so I'll just give it A tier. It seems like a decent, kind of like succubus item. Or incubus item. Okay, so it looks like it gives an extra tier every once in a while, but that doesn't really seem like... I mean, the tier rate is actually horrible. So, I don't know, man. It seems pretty useless. Alright, putting it in C tier. I don't know. I mean, the fact that it copies damage is cool, but that's literally all it has to its name. This gives you flight and an eternal heart. I love flight. You know I love flight. I'm gonna give it this. Actually, I'm gonna give it A tier, because every time I find this item... Oops. Every time I find this item, I already have flight. But that being said, still good enough. Flight tier. Finger. I like this item. People don't like it. I think it's good early game. I think that it's like a laser that will deal constant damage. It's super good early game. Flame Mind. This thing, if it's your first item, is very good. If it's your last item, run ruining. I'm going to put it in D tier. The damage over time is completely useless. Skipping tiers. Again, D tier, I've never seen this thing be useful, ever. It's cute in concept, but doesn't actually work. Flip. I don't think this does anything. Flush. It turns everything into shit, and it's okay. The only thing that sucks is it actually doesn't do anything against bosses, except for poop bosses. But yeah, it turns every enemy into poop, which it's okay. It's like Necronomicon. I'll put it in B tier. It's good for room clears. This is an attack fly, which is a good kind of orbital or whatever. Forget Me Now. I'm always happy to see a Forget Me Now. The only problem with it is that it gets rid of your active item if you have one, which matters a lot more in Repentance. So I'm actually going to just put an A tier. But yeah, there's no downside besides that. Actually, I'm going to put an S tier. Yeah, there's no downside to Forget Me Now. It just lets you restart the room, meaning you get a bunch of shit, which is always really... Fortune Cookie, it's okay. Sometimes it does something, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time it doesn't do something. I'll give it an A tier. This is Lemonade. This is like Lemon Party, but bigger. This is what the... Like, if this was the 2-room charge Lemon Party, it would be good, but even increasing the size of it... Like, I would much rather have literally anything but this. So, D tier. Actually, C tier, because... Nah, not D tier. It's terrible. Iced Baby, B tier. I actually think this is a great familiar. Actually, it's like an A tier familiar. Freezing enemies is absolutely fantastic, and this thing does just that, and actually works way better than you would think it would. Friend Finder. I don't know, it's kind of cool. It doesn't really do a whole lot. Creates another friend guy, which, it's kind of like this Pokeball thing, you know? It kind of creates a friend. Pokeball can kind of win runs on its own, but, I mean, it's too niche, but it's okay. It's C tier. Fruitcake. Fruitcake is okay. I'll give it, I think Fruitcake is really good. It's basically unlimited bombs, unlimited sulfuric tears if you have a lot of patience. I think it's an A tier item. And actually, you know what? It's kind of an S tier item. If you get it early on and you have some sort of like synergy with it, it's like S tier. It can win a run, but overall, it's just really good. It's A tier. I really like the item. This is like a mini plum fly. It's basically like a mid thing. This is Game Breaking Bug. I don't like this thing. It just is kind of useless, and I don't think I'll ever like it. Double tap changes an enemy into a different enemy. Pretty fucking useless. Jello, this is basically the usable version of Lilith's C-section item, which is a very good item. Gemini, this is a conjoined friend, which is really mid. It's so mid, one of the worst, I don't know, what do you call it? It's one of the zodiac symbols. It's just really weak. Genesis, when used, remove all your passive items. Oh my god, this item's ridiculous. I honestly don't even know where to put this. It's just a ridiculous, crazy-ass item. I'll put it in S tier. It lets you, like, restart and, like... It just lets you do crazy shit. You lose all your items, but you can pick and choose between whatever the fuck you want. That's pretty good. Ghost Baby is pretty shit. I actually think it's worse than Brother Bobby. I'm going to put it down here. I'm also going to move up Demon Baby because it's better than Brother Bobby. Ghost Bombs is bomb tier. I don't know, man. I'm never excited to see bombs. Ghost Pepper is like a better version of the other item that fires out flames, which is the hot chili pepper thing. This guy, I think that Ghost Pepper is substantially better. Yeah, Ghost Pepper is incredible. It actually could be like an S tier item, actually, but you need a lot of luck and a lot of stuff to make it work. I'm gonna put it up at the top of A tier. Giant Cell. Every time you take damage, a tiny Isaac familiar will spawn, which will follow you and shoot tears. The mini Isaacs stay with you between floors, but they can die if they take too much damage. Dude, when have I ever even seen this item? Giant Cell. I guess I'll give it a B tier, or C tier. I don't know. I never see this shit. Gimpy's great. It's fantastic. It's constant. It's just constant. Renewal of soul hearts and regular hearts. I'm always happy to see Gimpy. Glass Cannon, this item's okay. I've never really made it work. I'll give it a B tier. Glaucoma is blinding tears. It's definitely not as good as like any other tier effect. I mean, I'd give it a C tier. I'm never really happy to see it, but you know. Glitched Crown, I love options. I love options. I'll give it an S tier. Actually, Glitch Crown's kind of nuts. I'm going to give it S+ tier. Being able to choose between 5 options, sure, they rotate really quickly, and if you screw up, you might lose some stuff, but, I mean, it's honestly amazing. I'm going to give Glitter Bombs higher than regular bombs because I like the fact that they drop more bombs. You know what I mean? Hourglass has been substantially, like, it's just so much better in Repentance because of planetariums. You can go into an item room. If you don't like it, you click the button, and then you have a planetarium chance. I love that, and I think that's actually valuable at any stage of the game. Glyph of Balance. I'm tired of seeing this thing, but it's okay. It basically will help you balance out your rewards, which is, it's decent, but it also is an Angel Room item. This item, this Unbreakable Leaf, it's S+ game-breaking winning tier. Anything that makes you invincible, but you gotta stand still for the rest of the game. However, if you get this item, you'll never lose, so it is S+ tier. Literally, you just need, like, Daddy Longlegs, an attack fly, something, and then, like, 20 hours of your time, and you'll always win. This is basically, like, the ultimate, trump card, where if you're just completely losing, you just say fuck it, and you leave, and then you just stand still for the rest of the game. But it works better in practice it works better in theory than in practice, so it's S tier. Goat Head, I like being able to get constant Devil Rooms, but Devil Rooms have been nerfed, so A tier. Shrink Shot, this thing sucks, I hate getting it, D tier. Godhead, it's Godhead, Godhead's fantastic, but I honestly don't think it's as good as, like, Sacred Heart or something. Trust me, it's fantastic. It actually is very well deserving of S+ tier, as it can definitely, like, it's up there with Brimstone. It's game-winning, incredible. It's fucking amazing. It turns you into a god. But it used to be better. Golden Razor, I don't know, man. If you have, like, a ton of gold and you need 1 room's worth of damage, I just prefer, like, pay to win. So I guess I'll throw it here because I would just rather have pay to win. Greed's Gullet, if you have a bunch of money and you find this thing in the secret room, you get 3 extra hearts. It's pretty good. But if you don't, then it's terrible. It's C tier. Sometimes it just does nothing. Damage Up. This is a Damage Up. I'm going to put it in A tier. This guy increases the usability of all of your familiars, makes them all faster, makes them all more functional, but it is an Angel Room item, and it takes up Angel Room space. It's a B tier item, in my opinion. Guillotine! Yeah! I always lose whenever I pick up this item. I'm going to put it in B tier. I don't care that it's a Damage Up. The downside is that it makes it impossible to play the game, and I don't like that. Guppy's Collar, I'm going to put it in F tier. I think that this is a do-nothing item that will occasionally save your ass, but most of the time it just laughs at you and says, haha, fuck you, you thought you were going to survive. If you pay for this thing, you're a sucker. If you find it in a chest, it's okay. So because you can find it in a chest, I'm putting it in C tier. Guppy's Eye is one of the new Guppy items. I love this. I think it's so fun. I like the fact that you're able to look through chests. Sure, it's not the most useful, but it can help you find soul hearts in flames and stuff. That's definitely the best use of it. Guppy's Hairball, the only good thing about it is it works towards the transformation. I never like using it, and I think it's just a pain in the ass to try to make it work. Guppy's Reusable Head is a good active item, but now there's a lot of good active items, so it's not that great. Soul Converter. Turns out hearts are pretty useful, especially if you actually are playing the game in, like, Like the soul hearts are cool and all. Giving 1 heart for 3 soul hearts is pretty good, but usually when you pick this thing up, you have a different active item, and you usually pick it up. You don't even use it. You're just like, okay, closer to the Guppy transformation, and you leave. That's basically all it's good for now. Guppy's tail, more chests. If you're able to handle that, it's okay. This item martyr thing, when you take damage, it increases the charge of your item. This is fantastic. I love it. S tier. It again, active items, incredible. Things that increase the value of active items are great. Hemokinetic ptosis, whatever the fuck it's called. This thing changes your tier to be this like nuclear weapon that just shoots out and boom, bursts into a bunch of smaller tiers. It sounds cool in concept, but in theory, it actually just completely butchers your existence. But I do pick it up every time, so I'm going to give it a C tier. It's one of those things that's terrible, but I pick it up when I see it. Hollowed ground, it makes a holy poop, which is cool, except for you can't ever use it. I'm giving it a C tier. The holy poop is fantastic, but you got to take damage, and then it's like it gets destroyed in 2 seconds, and it's an angel room item. So you're gonna get it, you're gonna use it for 2 seconds, and you're gonna be like, "Wow, that was sad." Halo flies. I mean, it blocks projectiles, but the fact that you can get these from pills makes it a sad feeling when you get this from an item room. Harley Quinn baby, C tier. I don't like this guy. Apparently he's one of the higher tier babies, but I mean the fact that he shoots the way he does just frustrates me. I guess you could say it's like kind of like a triple shot, but not really. Rarely ever, because you're usually just trying to hit one enemy and the shots are just too wide or whatever. Headless baby. If you get it from an item room, it's okay, but again, the creep is just not that useful. It's okay. I'll put it C tier. Krampus's head. This thing shoots out lasers all around you. It's alright. It's good against bosses, but I'll be honest, I'm not a big Krampus head fan. I pick it up way less than other people. I'll put it in B tier. Head of the Keeper. Makes it so coins tiers possibly drop coins. That's an okay effect. I'll put it in C tier. Heartbreak. Gives you a damage up for every broken heart you have. It gives you 3 broken hearts. Every hit of damage that would kill you instead adds more broken hearts and deals 40 damage to all enemies in the room. They're empty heart containers that cannot be removed. The only way to get rid of them is a confession machine. I don't know, I don't have this thing unlocked. It's like, it sounds okay, but the broken hearts are just an absolute huge downside. I guess I'll just throw it in the Z tier for now for, I don't know what the fuck. Hematemesis. This is an okay item. It gives you a short range sneeze. I'll give it a B tier. It's like an extra weapon. It's good for short range whatever. Hive mind, bigger spiders and flies, usually always pretty good. This is, if you see this and you have a lot of flies or spiders, this can be game winning, honestly. I think that you combine this. Like, I also love the fact that it increases the size and whatever of, like, fly familiars. I pick this up anytime I see it in the shop, and then I always, like, feel good about it because you always get, like, spiders and flies throughout a run. And then they deal 4 times your tier damage, which later on in the game could be, like, 40 damage a fly, which it's really insane. Next we got Hold, which does nothing. Holy Grail. This is Flight. Let's put it in Flight tier. Holy shot. Wow, holy shot. This is one of the best tier effects in the game. I'm going to throw it over in A tier. Just super strong. Holy Mantle is so good. I used to see this thing in every run, and I think the devs realized how strong it was. It's S++ tier. It blocks all the damage you ever take in a run. It's absolutely insane. You get this thing, you win the game. It's that easy. Like, you will just never take damage with Holy Mantle. Host Hat, explosion resistance, fantastic. It's honestly better than like what Conehead would do because 100% of explosions are prevented, meaning you can kind of combine this with other stuff, make it incredible. Flame Bombs goes into bomb tier. How to jump, more like how to never pick up this item. I guess it works if you need like a little bit of flight or whatever, but usually I pick this up and trade it out within like the first room. 1+1, this got nerfed, but it's still great. It increases all pickups and is a very big run helper. Hungry Soul. Each time an enemy dies, every time the enemy dies, a friendly red soul appears. It will hunt down other enemies, dealing contact damage with skills which are tier damage. I've never actually seen this thing in action, but it sounds pretty good. Yeah, it looks pretty strong. Again, take some of these with a grain of salt, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Hushy! You get this by beating Hush with Apollyon, another unlock that I really wish that I didn't unlock. I'm gonna put this in Z tier for, wow, this is one of the most useless pieces of shit ever. It's like a peeper, but when you fire tears it stops working, which you would think would be a downgrade, right? Well, that's because it is. It's horrible. Hypercoagulation. Upon taking damage, you have a chance to drop the heart that you just lost, and it gives you 2 seconds to pick it back up. I mean, that sounds pretty good. And allowing you to reheal or whatever. I mean, I've never actually seen this thing in action because I don't have it unlocked. But the effect sounds pretty strong for a character that has a lot of red hearts. But again, when the fuck are you ever going to play a character where you need red hearts? IBS causes Isaac to throw a random type of poop at random intervals. In addition, chance for explosive diarrhea to happen, which spawns 5 troll bombs where Isaac is standing. That sounds like a way to kill yourself. I don't know. It doesn't sound very great. I'm going to throw it in C tier. Angelic Conception, you get like Seraphim or whatever when you take damage. Worse than cmon Conception, C tier. This is the new Sacred Heart kind of item. This thing is really fucking strong. It creates like a halo of really powerful tears around you. A massive damage up. Always happy to see this thing S tier. Incubus is basically a tier doubler. You see this? It's like a 2020. It's S plus tier. Just straight up doubles your damage. It can create some insane combos. Yeah, you love seeing Incubus. Infamy occasionally blocks damage, and I like occasionally blocking damage. It's a B tier item. Infestation Shot is fantastic. Every time you kill an enemy, it creates a spider. You can't actually get spiders with spiders. That's the only thing that's bad about it, but literally it's just a huge damage upgrade, basically. Infestation. This thing got buffed. It's slightly better than it used to be, but it's definitely no Infestation 2. It's a B tier item. Actually, you know what? It's pretty shit. I'm gonna throw it in D tier now that I think about it. Getting hit and getting flies is not something I would ever be happy about getting in an item room. Inner Child is another life up that I don't know if this turns you into Isaac. If it turns you into Isaac, it's terrible, but if it turns you into whoever you are playing as and a smaller version of it, then it's fantastic. So because of my lack of knowledge, you decide what it is. It's a lot higher. It's A tier if it's the same character. It's C tier or D tier if it's not the same character. Ipecac is game winning. Sure, it's a very volatile item, but I mean, come on. What are you, a pussy? You just don't know how to use it if you get hit by it, okay? Yeah, it turns your tears into like these huge poison damaging bombs that are just incredibly useful in every way, except for they sometimes hit you. But just get good at the game and it won't happen. Concussive tears, the concussion effect's not really that fun or great. I'm going to give it a B tier. It's a damage up though, but it's very small. Isaac's Heart, hate seeing it, F tier. Yeah, this thing's terrible. It's like 1,000 times worse now that, oh god, it's so bad. They took it out of like the angel rooms because it's just so shit. Isaac's Tomb spawns a wooden chest at the start of all future floors. The chests are okay. I don't know. It's like a little bit of a utility item. I'll give it a B tier. Actually, C tier. It doesn't do much. It hurts. Oh no, it hurts, mommy. I'm gonna give this a C tier. It only does stuff if you take damage. I don't like items that do that, and I'm always disappointed when I see this. In fact, I'm so disappointed it's D tier. I hate seeing it stop showing up on my runs, okay? Portable Blood Bank gives you a bunch of coins. It could be really useful with some self-damaging items like Infestation, you know? I'll give it a B tier. I actually like this thing. Jacob's Ladder is potentially game-winning. I'm going to give it S tier. I love the tier effect. I think that it's just so fun. The fact that it carries tier effects on it makes it just so incredibly powerful. Jar of Flies is one of the best active items in the game. Combined with something like Hive whatever, I think that this item is just incredibly strong. Whipping out 20 flies on a boss or just anywhere can help save your ass. And the fact that it's so easy to refill, I end up picking up this item almost every time I see it, and I never really regret it. Jar of Wisps. I've never seen this item. I guess it gives you a bunch of wisps, kind of like Jar of Flies. I guess I'll put it in A tier. I mean, that seems pretty good. If it works the way that I think it does, it's A tier, but I don't know. Let's take a look. No, it looks pretty good. This guy's got like 50 wisps on him, so I'm going to assume that means it does what I think it does, which means it's a pretty good item. Jawbone. This thing picks up... The only good thing about this item is the fact that you can get pickups from across the room in greed mode. I'm going to give it a C tier. It does no damage. It's kind of utility-based. Jesus Juice is one of the best boss items. You love seeing it. Jesus Juice is damage up, and I love damage up. Judas's Shadow. This is F tier. I hate any item that transforms you into another character because I already have all the unlocks for Judas. That being said, though, if you are actually like in a run where you need to win, like for like a streak or something, it's like S plus S tier. But for me, because I'm not doing that, it's F tier. I literally would never pick this up or get use out of it. And if I did get use out of it, I would just restart the run because, for the love of God, what's the point of finishing the run if I'm not going to get an unlock? Juicy Sack. It basically spawns blue spiders every room and then drops creep. It's okay. It's a good early game item. I'm going to give it a B tier. I like things that give you a little bit of extra damage or like ticks of damage throughout a room. And the creep's okay. I'd like having slowing creep. It actually is, I actually kind of prefer it over damaging creep. Because it's a very defensive type of creep. Jumper cables. Again, active items, fantastic. Anything that makes active items better, it's an A tier. Jupiter, you are a gas giant. It makes it so that you, I think it's a speed down. Yeah, it's a speed down, but when you're not moving, you basically get a speed up and fart around the room. It's a fun item. I like it. I'll give it a B tier because it's like, it's one of the worst planetarium items, but it's fun. Kamikaze, Z tier. Wow, this item still exists, and I haven't seen a pyromaniac in about a year. Yeah, Z tier. Like, it basically is like, oh, infinite self-explosions. Oh, wow, hooray. They do no damage and they kill you, so incredible. Keeper's Box. It spawns a random shop item. This is actually not bad. I don't know, I don't hate this. Usually, shops are hard to come by, and this can get you a bunch of shop items, which means it can get you a bunch of things for your active item, which is Shopkeeper's Box, so it's only okay. Keeper's Kin. While in a room, blue spiders will randomly spawn from objects. All rocks spawn spiders when destroyed. Counts. Yeah, I like things that spawn spiders when destroyed. That's pretty good. I'll give it a B tier. It allows you to basically use a bomb to like get a burst of spiders before a boss or something. In fact, you could actually get a lot of value out of this. Love Bean. I hate this thing. Get it out of the game. Z tier. I don't even want to rank it. It sucks, and I hate seeing it. Every time I see it, I want to die. Kidney Stone. Now that the damage or the speed down is gone, this thing actually is a massive damage up. I'm going to give it an A tier. Yeah, with the speed down, it sucks, but honestly, stopping shooting tears and then getting a massive burst could be super helpful in so many situations. I actually find myself enjoying the burst of damage more than being disappointed by the downside of it. King Baby sucks. I don't care that they changed it to give homing tears or whatever, dude. King Baby is so bullshit. Unless, of course, you know, it's not bullshit. I don't know. I haven't seen it in a while. I'll give it Z tier. Knife piece is pretty good, but whatever. Knockout Tears is so fun. I'm going to give it an A tier. I love the fact that it just, like, punches enemies away. Like, the knockback's already good. But, yeah, there's so many great uses with it. Lacra, whatever, this thing, basically the tears turn into these creepy little beasts or whatever. They blow up and then they deal, like, damage or whatever. I honestly don't think it's, like, the most useful thing on the planet, but it's a fun item. I'll give it a B tier. Zit Tears. Fuck this shit. It does nothing. It occasionally drops, like, dog shit creep on the floor. Oh, God, it's so bad. F tier. I never want to see this item again. It's also disgusting. And that's coming from someone who plays the Binding of Isaac. You know what I mean? Larynx. When you use this item, does a shout-out attack with its effect increasing in damage and size the more charges you have. Can be used with any number of charges. Wow, it does massive damage. I like items that do massive damage. Yeah, you can basically use this once every room or whatever. Dude, this is pretty good. I'll put it in A tier. It's not S tier because I haven't actually used it before. But hey, you know what? I'll be honest with you guys. Sometimes there's items that you guys got to figure out how they work yourselves, okay? This is my tier list, all right? Lazarus's Rags does nothing. D tier. Oh yeah, and it turns you into Lazarus. I'll put it in Z tier. Leech is actually fantastic. You can let him just kill enemies to heal all your red hearts back up. I'll give it A tier just for that because it's like infinite healing. Latchkey is an okay boss item. Gives you 2 keys. Good early on. It's shit later on. This item, this fucking item replicating shit is borderline S plus tier. It's ridiculous. If you're able to not take any damage, it's absolutely fantastic. However, I always take damage, so, you know, I take it with a grain of salt. Lemon Party, F tier. Fuck this item. It's 2 charges, and it gives you literally nothing. Leo. Leo is D tier. Stompy is a real... Actually, yeah, it's C tier. Stompy is a lame effect that rarely ever gets value. You'll occasionally find a crawl space, but then you'll blow yourself up on a mushroom, and it's basically a... like 5 red hearts for an item. This thing is, when you take damage, you get these orbitals, and it sucks, and it's D tier, and I don't want to ever see it again, because, like, you have to take damage to get blocking projectiles, and I don't even know how long they last, either. Libra! This is either the worst item of the game or the best item in the game. I'll put it in C tier. I'm usually not very happy to see it, because I get a big damage up, and it's like, wow, nice, I get a little bit of range instead of the damage I wanted. This guy is Brother Bobby tier. He basically is like Brother Bobby. I don't know. He occasionally shoots out tears, gives you a little extra damage. I'd actually C tier. I don't like him. Lil Abaddon is pretty good. I mean, yeah, it's like a very strong familiar. Same thing with Lil Brim. Lil Brim is S tier. Yeah, any form of brimstone is fantastic. Even though this thing doesn't scale with your damage like regular brimstone, you're always going to be happy to have a little bit of brimstone damage. I'm actually going to throw it in A tier, though, because you hate getting it late game. Lil Chest. Lil Chest. This thing, it's a chest. It's Lil, and it follows you. Has a 25% chance to drop a pickup after clearing a room. This thing could be really good early on. Gives you extra pickups. I'll give it a B tier. Yeah, you know, you like the extra shit. Little Delirium. It's, so let's put it in Delirious tier. Unpredictable familiars is not really my favorite kind of thing. Little Dumpy follows, goes around the room, farts on people. I don't know. It could be useful, but I rarely feel the effect of this thing. I'll put it in C tier. Lil Gertie. Lil Gertie is B tier because he's fun. I actually like playing with Lil Gertie, and if you saw my recent Need for Greed video, Lil Gertie is just a fun item. That's all. It's just fun. It bounces around the room and does decent damage. It's actually like the fact that you just need to let go of him and he'll do stuff is really good because you don't have to put too much focus and he'll do a bunch of stuff. I'm actually going to say the same thing with Lil Haunt. I like familiars that will just follow an enemy and do constant damage. Lil Monstro is fantastic. He's an A tier familiar, one of the best familiars in the game. He just does a ton of burst damage. It's kind of like Lil Brim. Yeah. Lil Portal. This thing, God, what a pain in the ass to use. D tier. Like, it's not fun to use. I don't know. I don't pick this shit up when I see it. It's terrible. Lil Spewer, F tier. Yikes. I tried to use this thing, but every time I do, I'm like, wow, I really wish I had anything else. Big Bean. It's an okay active item that I wish I had any other active item. Wait, no, this is the thing that gives you farts when you fire tears. I've never seen this thing be useful. Lil Baggy, F tier shopped item. It gives you a pill and extra pill room, which, I mean, like, sure, if you get like I'm drowsy or something crazy, but you gotta use the pills to actually see what they do, and if you get a good pill, you're just gonna like hold on to it anyways. I just think that it's pretty useless. Lil Chad drops red hearts on occasion. I'll put it in C tier. That could be really useful, but most of the time it's eh. This guy is same as Big Chub. Lil Chub just does, you know, decent damage across the room. It's either C tier or B tier. Don't be too picky with it. I'm gonna go with C tier because you have to aim it, and that's annoying. The Lil Gish is D tier, one of the worst familiars, just boring and weak and annoying. Little Horn is a very good item. It instantly kills enemies when it activates, as well as it does tons of boss damage. It is basically like a very strong tier upgrade. I'm gonna put it in A tier. Lil Steven, Psychic Friend. I like again having familiars where I don't have to focus on aiming, and Lil Steven, even though he shows up all the time, does okay damage and homes in on enemies, which is substantially better than any of these guys who just shoot forward and don't home in on enemies. Magnetizing Tears. I thought this was useless, but now I think it's just fun, but a little useless. I'll put it in C tier. Loki's Horns. I had a run today with this item that actually made me reconsider it. I'm gonna give it B tier because sure, like, it's not always the most useful, but like when you're in rooms with tons of enemies, you'll find yourself actually like hitting tears on occasion, and it'll feel pretty good. That being said, though, it just doesn't happen often enough to be in B tier. It's going in C tier. Flight goes into Flight tier, S tier. It gives you a speed up. Very strong item. Lost Contact, I don't like shielded tears because I can just dodge the tears. I can just run away from the tears. I don't need to shoot into them. This puts you into lazy mode, but doesn't actually do anything extra. It's actually very sad when I get this. Lost Fly, this thing does actually like so much damage. Like I thought it was horrible, but like if the enemy actually does end up on this thing, it just takes stupid amounts of damage. And the fact that you don't actually have to be near it makes it better. I thought this was like one of the worst items ever. It's definitely bad, but if you can push a boss into it early game, it will just instantly kill it. Like just watch, start attacking a you know, the Lord of the Flies or whatever, and push him into a wall into this guy, and he'll just get obliterated. Lost Soul is a fun little cute little guy. I'm gonna put him in B tier. He's a decent little familiar. Lost Soul, you gotta protect this guy for too long, but if you do, the reward is massive, but it is a mini game that I'm not usually willing to play. I'm gonna put it in C tier. Lucky Foot got a massive buff. I'm going to put it in A tier. It literally gives you the PhD effect without being able to see the things, and then it gives you a luck up, which is great. Actually, you know what? Yeah, Pill Nation tier. It's the Pill Nation tier. I like Lucky Foot for Pill Nation. Luna. I like the extra secret rooms, but the extra effect doesn't really do a whole lot late game. I mean, I guess if you're fighting someone that isn't the beast, like I usually, like if I'm getting a planetarium, it's because I'm usually fighting the beast. And if I get this and I get like, and if I'm going to the beast, I'm usually very, very sad. So because of that, it's only like a B tier item. I'd much rather have a different planetarium item, but the increase in tier rate actually is pretty good. Bloody Lust is borderline game winning. It's definitely an S tier item, not an S plus tier, but it's very good. Maggie's Bow makes red hearts heal for more, which is very niche, but if you can make it work, it's great. C tier. This is one of the worst boss items. I hate seeing it. F tier. It gives you basically a card and nothing else. A little bit of range. Pay to win, or Sticky Fingers, or whatever this is called. It's the pay to win item. Magic Fingers. This is so good. I really, really like this item. I think that with it buffed, it's actually one of my favorite items now in the game. I'm actually going to give it an S tier. It's because if you get a lot of money, like say you have 50 bucks and you find this item, you win. That's it, you win. It's like a Necronomicon effect for a penny. That's fucking nuts. It's actually so strong now. It'll do like 20 or so damage on average to enemies in the room, and if you use it twice, it's basically 2 pennies for a Necronomicon effect, and late game pennies are useless, and if you're playing as someone like the Lost, this item will save your ass. If you get into a complicated room, it's just like, you don't have to worry about the item's charge. You can just use it whenever the hell you want. In fact, it's borderline S plus tier, and I am like sticking with that. I don't care what anyone says. Magic Mushroom. S plus tier. This thing is so rare to find now, but much like Cricket's Head, it just increases stats to ridiculous amounts. If you find this item, you're always happy and you're never sad. It's always an S plus, and you're always like, holy crap, I found Magic Mush. This is basically slightly better than an HP up, so let's put it above all the other HP ups. Gives you a little bit of luck. Magic Skin. Have I ever seen this thing be useful? No, but I guess it gives you item pedestals, so B tier. I don't know. Maybe one day it'll be good. Magneto! F tier. I'm never happy to see this thing. Sure, it like attracts items to you, but like that's only so useful in so few situations. Mama Mega, I don't give a fuck what anyone says. This is S plus tier. It allows you to completely skip a room. Skip an entire floor. And the only reason this is bad is if you don't actually have, like, or if you have an active item, which, honestly, it's S tier. It's not game winning, but it's so good. The fact that you can skip an entire floor and it just will obliterate absolutely everything is so valuable as a character like Tainted Lost or something, where you absolutely... Dog, why'd you have to fart in this room? It obliterates an entire room, or an entire floor, which, I mean, it's just insane. Marbles! Everyone complains about this item. It spawns 3 random trinkets, but luckily I don't actually think I have this thing unlocked. So, haha, bitches, I don't have this item unlocked, so I don't have to deal with it all the time. Haha. Yeah, so I don't have to deal with marbles. I feel good. Marked Tears has been buffed a ton, and I really like it. A tier. I like the fact that I'm able to, like, stand anywhere in the room or just, like, put a marker on an enemy and then just dodge their tears and not worry about aiming. That's a very valuable thing, and it just synergizes with so many items. This is HP up, basically. I'll put it with HP up. Mars, it's fun. It's like basically you can have an invincibility charge, which is pretty strong. It's like Breath of Air. I'll give it an A tier. But it has some offensive capabilities, but let's be real. I'm a little bit of a wimp and too weak to do that kind of stuff. I'd rather have a better, or something like a Uranus or something. Alright, Matchstick gives you a black heart and a bunch of bombs. That's actually pretty useful. I'm going to give it B tier. The Matchstick I never really use, but, I mean, the bombs are pretty good and the black heart's pretty good too. Maw of the Void is stupid damage. Stupid damage. And I like stupid damage, stuff that just kills bosses and rooms instantly. S+ tier. You're always happy to see it. This is better than an HP up because it gives you damage, and I like damage, so A tier. Cleaver. Pretty useless, pretty F tier in like 99% of situations until you find that one situation it's not F tier. But most of the time you just make more problems for yourself. Gigafart. That's what my dog just did in this fucking room. I'm gonna give it a D tier. I'm never happy to see it, but I guess it does some stuff. But I honestly just don't want to ever use this item. Speaking of Giga Blast Mega Super Satan, S tier, fun item, super fun, lets you clear out a ton of rooms, and it's reusable. I like it. I think it's so cool. It looks badass. The only problem is the charge is just so long. Super Mega Mush. I'm also going to put in S tier for it takes forever to charge up, but the effect is just incredible. So awesome. Such a cool item. One day maybe I'll unlock it, you know? Membership card. Super often, but also really fun. It kind of has like a shop with a chaos effect, and I usually pick this up when I see it. So I'm actually going to give it B tier, because occasionally you'll find something really useful. Metal Plate is like Infamy, but worse, actually. So I'm going to put it in Infamy tier. Sure, it gives you a soul heart, and sometimes the thing gets deflected, but yeah, it's whatever. I'm not going to let myself get hit by a bullet to have a 1 in 4 chance for this thing to happen. Metronome. This thing sucks. F tier. F tier, never pick it up. The effect is way too small and random for two room charge. Midas Touch, super niche, but if you can make it work, it's fantastic. C tier. This is a HP up. Milk, don't cry over it. Feels so bad when I get this D tier. I mean, you have to take damage to actually make it actually do anything. It's pretty shit. Reusable TNT, I like this item. It's a bomb every single room. It's A tier. Yeah, a free bomb every single room. It turns out it's pretty good when you're looking for secret rooms. As well as it does some damage, and I just think that it's like a lot more valuable than a lot of other items. And I pick it up basically anytime I see it early game. Mini Mush makes you small. Any speed up is really good. I love speed ups. A tier. Missing No is world destroying tier. Sure, it's fun if you pick it up, but you're gonna have a bad time if things go poorly. Missing Page 2, I think this is one of the worst Devil Deal items, and I'm always disappointed to see it. Sure, maybe you can make it work in a niche situation, but I usually hate it. This, I thought it was bad, but it actually makes Red Hearts turn into Soul Hearts, which is just amazing, because Soul Hearts you can pick up at any time. So you get this, you get an Ace of Hearts, you're having a good time. Mom's Bottle of Pills, motherfucking Pill Nation. Pill Nation! Pill Nation! Alright, we're gonna move Chaos out of Pill Nation tier. It's not really Pill Nation, is it? Nah, it's more like, it's fun whenever I pick it up. But, you know, it's B tier. Box of Trinkets. Mom's Box of Trinkets, one of the best mom items. The fact that it doubles trinket effects makes it really useful for if you got a good trinket like cancer or something. It's either A or B tier. I'm gonna put it in B tier, because, again, it's an active item slot. Mom's Brace, or whatever. This lets you throw rocks, which is actually pretty good for the early game, and then it sucks late game. Mom's Bra. I hate seeing this. The effect is slow and weak and doesn't do a whole lot. Mom's Bag of Pills. Pill Nation. Fucking Pill Nation. You already know. We take it every single time. Mom's Contact. The freeze effect is one of the best effects in the game. Every time you freeze an enemy, it's like, oh, nice. I get to just kill him now. Freeze tier is great. Mom's tear at the back of your head. Sounds great. You have a tear at the back of your head. Literally does nothing 99% of the time. D tier, a waste of an item. Upgrade. Charm Tears is okay early game, but sucks just in general. Mom's heal. I mean, it's a range up, so it's F tier. But I mean, you know. Mom's key. Oh, that's fantastic. Makes chess incredible. A tier. Gives you 2 keys and makes chess really good. Mom's knife. This is one of the best items in the game. It's S plus tier, run winning. You get this item, it just does insane damage. In fact, let me just, like, the damage of this item is every tick it does your tier damage times 2. So if your damage is 10, it'll do 20 damage per tick. That's fucking ridiculous. Like, that's so ridiculous. This is a range up. Mom's pad, just as bad as Mom's bra. Mom's necklace, slightly better than all of these. It's a bit of range and luck. It's, you know, it's a decent thing. I actually think that the luck up and the range up makes it good. This, Mom's perfume, is actually fantastic. It gives you a tier delay down, which is like, if you have like triple shot or whatever, it'll just give you like a flat delay, and then the fear shot's pretty good. This gives you extra room for trinkets. Mom's extra trinket room. Sometimes you're happy to see it, a lot of the time you're not. Mom's razor, fuck this shit. Please remove it from the game. I hate it. More range up. Mom really likes range, I guess. Mom's wig gives you spiders. I like spiders. Money equals power. It's either a useless item or an incredible item. As you just like stack up a ton of money, it can be a win condition. I'm giving it A tier. Mongo baby, decent damage projectile guy thing. It's gonna go in B tier. Monster manual, even with the buff, I keep getting terrible things, and I end up usually regretting having it. I'm gonna give it a C tier. It's not that great. This thing gives you purifying light, which is okay. It like helps you do damage to nearby enemies. It can be helpful, but it's also an angel room item. I'll give it a B tier. It can have some use. Monstros along, it's S plus tier. It's near game winning. Combine that with any of these other items too, and it's just extra stupid. You just shoot out like a burst of tears, and it's just so fun. Monstro's Tooth, another decent boss damaging item, but there's just much better ones out there. This thing gives you a poop brimstone beam out your ass. It's okay. I'll give it a B tier. You know, it can be useful, but it's definitely way less useful than brimstone. There's options, makes it so that you can pick multiple or choose basically like the best of whatever, like it'll be between one of these and one of these, you know what I mean? So the fact that this thing just helps you basically double your options is worth the S tier rank. The box, C tier, not the worst boss item, but it's pretty shit. Also, wait, this is not this is different. What is this? Moving box. Upon using this, oh yeah, it holds a bunch of items. Dude, I've never seen this thing be used. I'm gonna give it Z tier. This is a reusable bomb buddy, which is okay, I guess. C tier can be useful. Little Maggie, that is, of course, a Tears Up, and I like Tears Up, B tier. Mr. Meeseeks, look at me. This thing does some okay stuff, but honestly, even with the flexibility, it's not that good. Look at me. This makes your bombs better and gives you bombs, putting it in bomb tier with the rest of the bombs. Spore Shot. This thing seems like it should be good, but whenever I use it, I end up actually regretting having it. I'm going to put it in C tier. It can help out with big rooms, but it absolutely butchers like your boss damage and stuff. Like seriously, you'll shoot out a bunch of spore tiers that do nothing, and then enemies like pin enemies that'll go underground will make you really regret your life decisions. Multi-dimensional baby can possibly double your tiers, but it also can just do nothing. I'm going to give it a B tier because it sometimes is good, but not all the time. Quad Shot. I love Quad Shot. I don't care what anyone says. It's A tier. It's so fun. I like the fact that you're able to shoot out a bunch of bullshit. Actually, I'm always very happy when I see this. I'm going to put it in S tier. I really like Quad Shot. Combine it with something stupid like Mom's Knife, and you got, like, just a ridiculous run. Which, by the way, happens quite a bit. Temporary Badass, I actually like this item less than some other invincibility items because it's only used for offense, and because of that, I'm going to give it a C tier. I do think that the recharge or whatever, like the invincibility shit is really only good against, good with, like, donation machines and stuff, in my opinion. I just don't think it's worth the item slot. Broken Reflection, Z tier. This thing almost never benefits you at all, ever. Like, really ever. Sometimes it does, sometimes it's F tier worthy, but it's pretty shit. My Shadow, it has a shadow follow you. It's pretty bad, C tier. Mysterious Liquid, whenever you shoot tears, it'll drop some really strong liquid underneath the enemies, can stack up to some crazy damage. Mystery Egg, I like it better than some other people because it actually just depends specifically on you not taking damage, and then you can get like a crazy-ass strong enemy later in the game. But it's definitely not B tier, it's definitely C tier. It's just not a whole lot of value for what it does. Present, I'm going to put it in B tier because it could be anything. Sack, Mystery Sack, ooh. It drops a random heart coin. It's basically like a bag of bombs, but it only works 1/3 of the time. I'm going to put it in D tier. I'm never happy to see this item. This is a fun new one. This is magic bombs. It basically is like a randomized bomb effect, and I think it's better than any other bomb effect because it's a bunch of combined effects, which makes it very, very good for offense. In fact, it's actually A tier, as it can give you like brimstone poison bombs against bosses, and all you got to do is just drop one near it, and it just does all the work for you. It can be extremely strong. See, individual bomb effects aren't good, but once you start stacking them up, they become very good. Neptune, there's nothing wrong with Neptune. Neptune, it basically allows you to have a crazy burst of tears. You do a bit of dodging, charge it up automatically, and then you have a big burst. It's one of the best planetarium items. Always happy to see it. Nightlight is an okay shop item if you have no money, or if you have 15 cents and you need to spend it because it's the last shop. Number 2, considering there's so many better items, I honestly think it's C tier. Sure, it's like a bunch of bombs all the time, but I mean, you blow yourself up at least once with this item, and that alone makes it not worth it. Notched Axe. This basically makes it so that your attack becomes an axe, which you could use to break rocks and stuff. I mean, it's okay. You sometimes buy it at the shop and sometimes get a little bit of value out of it, but you're never excited to see it. It's a D tier. PP. PP doubles tears and lowers range. This is absolutely incredible with some other items. I'm going to give it an A tier because it's a massive tears up. And sure, the range down sucks, but I mean, look, Azazel's a strong character. You know what I mean? Just be good at the game. This is a Lonely Follower Fly, which actually is okay. It's a D tier. It's not very great, but you know what? It's C tier. It does its job. Okay. Rift Tears is great. I think some people overrate this because like it's definitely like an S tier. It's an S tier item. You know, it's not overrated. The rifts it create are incredible. They suck in tears, and if you can get a couple of them, it could make you just basically invincible. So because of that, it's pretty incredible. Big flat old motherfucking mushroom, it's good. I think it's like an HP up and a damage up and stuff, but I think it makes you slower, and the speed down hurts a lot, but I still think it's very good. And I'm gonna say same with Mini Mush, even though it's a like, this is very good early on. It lowers your damage, but if you need tears up, this is such a fantastic thing to find. Bandage is an HP up, a shit HP up, but still an HP up regardless. There's Options, question mark, is actually a very good new item. It makes it so that there's a choice between 2 items whenever you have rewards, and I like that a lot. I like being able to pick what I get, and it's every single time, so yeah, it gives you so much versatility. Sucks. This item sucks. You know what I'm saying? C tier. It doesn't do anything. A Ouija board. You gotta give 1 heart for this thing, and Spectral Tears is only good like early game, and it kind of sucks late game. I mean, sometimes it's good, but it's like B tier. It's a tier upgrade, but it's definitely not like worth a heart. Pageant Boy, Z tier. Don't give me 5 coins. Give me a good boss item. Thank you. Pandora's Box. You gotta carry it too far to get value, but if you can manage to do that, it's pretty good. C tier. Pop a fly follower guy. This guy is a turret who follows you around and shoots at enemies. It's okay. It's C tier. This is egg tears, meaning that tears will burst and create spiders or flies or whatever, and that's really good. It's B tier. It's actually more like A tier. Yeah, just it spawns a bunch of friendly familiars, which is always good. Next, we got this candle. The more rooms you don't take damage, the more tier delay gets. Yeah, it's pretty good. I like it. I think it's pretty good. Next, we got the pause button. Don't care about this item at all. I'm gonna give it a C tier. It's so niche. You need a whole lot to make it work. Pay to play. F tier. It's so useless. It gives you 5. It costs 15 coins. Gives you 5 coins. And then you don't need keys anymore. Oh wow, whoop-de frickin' do. You know, it's so useful. Honestly, it's miserable. Damage up, A tier. You always love a damage up. PhD, fucking Pill Nation, man. It's Pill Nation. You already know. PhD, Pill Nation. Come on. It's great. You love seeing PhD. Piggy Bank. So situational. So rarely does it ever get value. D. Pisces, this gives you tier knockback up as well as more tiers. I like tiers up and I like tier knockback. I'm going to give it an A tier. Pajamas, fully heals you, gives you 4 soul hearts. Incredibly useful early game, B tier, and actually you're very happy to see it late game too. In fact, I'm actually going to give it an A tier because I'm actually always really happy whenever I see this item. Placebo, if you get balls of steel, then congrats. You made a cheap version of Book of Repentance without the other benefit, because it's a 12 charge. Pill Nation, you know, Pill Nation. Next, this is an HP up with some regeneration. I guess the regeneration can potentially be infinite, but let's be real here. You're not going to sit around all day for that shit, so I'm going to put it in B tier. Plan C, fuck this item. I've never gotten use out of it. I never will. Play-Doh cookie. This is a brand new item that I really like the effect of. I'm going to give it A tier. It just gives random tier effects very often, and those effects are usually very strong. Plum Flute, it's a very good item. You get to get it from being the plum boss. It summons a guy who actually is pretty helpful. He runs around a room, he stomps on bosses, and it's pretty easy to get. You can get it almost every time. So I think that increases the value a bit. Pluto makes you super, super, super tiny and gives you a tears up. It's a tears up, and you can dodge under tears, which is pretty fucking great. I'm gonna give it an S tier. The fact that you can now just like not worry about like getting hit by tears is pretty fantastic. It's A tier. It's borderline S though. Pointy Rib is a little extra damage early game. It's a B tier. It's all it's good for. Pokemon Catcher, yay, D tier. Sometimes you get a Pokemon and sometimes that's okay. This thing lets you hold an extra card, which I honestly don't ever really care about. C tier. Poly whatever, the Mega Tiers. Mega Tiers are incredible. I love this. Every time I see it, I scream, I cry. I'm so happy. I love getting Mega Tiers. They just make your tiers incredible. Pop, this thing, honestly, recently with a lot of combos, Pop Tiers have been incredible for me. And they've actually saved my ass. They just have so many incredible combos. Having tiers like stick around has made I've made it work with Isaac's jar of collected tears, where I was just like filling an entire room with them, and then I also had Cricket's Parasite, the split shot thing, and I just felt there's so many incredible combos with it. I really think it's incredible. Portable slot, F tier. You got to pay $15 to play a slot machine whenever you want. So great. Potato peeler. Usually I grab this and use it once, and it's worth the $15. It's B tier. Reusable prayer card is A tier if you're able to not take a bunch of damage. It's a reusable prayer card, a very good active item. Proptosis, super big damage up. I honestly don't think it's as great as some of these other S tier items, but I think it's definitely an S, just like a regular S tier. It's absolutely insane early game. Of course, you got to get really close to enemies, which is a little scary, and it does kind of screw up your range, but it's just so much damage that it's worth it most of the time. Sci-Fly, this thing is actually insane. Like, Sci-Fly is S+ tier. It basically, it allows you to just kill so many bosses for free. It's one of the best defensive items in the game, completely deflecting everything away from you so that you don't have to worry about anything anymore. It's near game winning. Scapegoat, F tier. I hate seeing this item. Borderline Z tier. Get this out of my goddamn game, please, for the love of God. I don't want to see this anymore. I accidentally put Candle in Z tier. This is actually an A tier item. Wide shot. I got wide shot. This thing gives you actually spectral tiers, basically. So I'm gonna give it A tier, or B tier actually. The spectral tier effect makes it worth it. If it didn't fly over rocks, it would be one of the worst tier upgrades in the game. This is ghost things, lost spirit thing, whatever. You know what I mean? It's ooh, spooky. It's a B tier. It does some stuff sometimes. I don't know. Purity. Purity. This is a fun one. If you get it as lost, you're trapped on one aura. But the fact that it can give some not so auras and shit, it's an S tier. I love seeing it. Every time I see it, I'm happy. It's great. Pyromaniac is one of the most absurd niche items in the game. It's definitely near run winning, but it's not actually. In fact, I'm actually going to put Sci-Fly in S tier because you need skill, unlike a lot of these other items, where just they take away the skill that you require to win the game. Yeah, Pyromaniac, if you get a crazy combo with it, it is just like if you get something like Epic Fetus or whatever, it's game over. Like, it's an infinite heal. But it's very difficult to get it to work like that. But for what it is, it's pretty goddamn good. 99 bombs is actually pretty fantastic. I'm going to put it in A tier. It's a lot better than 10 bombs as infinite. It's near infinite bombs, so you'll never run out. Quints, A tier. Actually, you know what? It's S tier. One of the best early game items. It will help you so much to just defeat like a couple of guys and spawn like 5 different familiars. It's like 5 familiars in one item because most of the time it gets its full value. I think it's S tier. Rainbow Baby is just another mediocre baby. I'm going to put it in C tier. Raw Liver is a better HP up. I'm going to give it A tier. It gives you 2 hearts instead of 1. Razor Blade, almost never useful unless on Eve, just in the very beginning of the game. This, I think, is just a whatever item that doesn't actually mean anything. It's for tainted, whatever. Red Candle, not as good as Blue Candle, but still a really, really good active item that you can constantly reuse. It's tons of damage. I'm actually going to put it in S tier. It's definitely worth taking most of the time. Redemption, every time you enter a devil room and choose not to take an item, you get a damage up. The effect... That's pretty good. You just ignore terrible devil deals and get damage ups. I'll give it an A tier. I like damage ups. Red Key is near game breaking. I'm going to give it an S tier, almost S plus tier. Whenever I see a red key, it means, okay, we're taking a long ass time with our games. It's very easy to find the super secret rooms if you're using your red key optimally, and it's one of the best active items in the game. Getting more rooms means that basically you get more like item charges as well, so this thing's basically like a 3 room charge instead of a 4. If you find a super secret room, it gives you an angel item for free, which could be Sacred Heart, which is just game winning. So that reason alone, it's just S tier. Red Stew. This thing is actually okay. I kind of like it. Where did I drop it? I dropped it somewhere on accident. Oh, whatever. I'll find it again. It's like B tier. It's like B tier or A tier or something like that. If I find it, I'll change it. This is basically 5 bombs, and I throw away the item. And because I throw away the item, I'm going to throw it in D tier because it makes me sad whenever I see it. Restock has been nerfed to shit. It's terrible now. It's C tier. You can't do infinites anymore, so there's no point of spending 15 bucks on Restock. This is the new item, Awakening. It's basically like a angelic brimstone. It's game winning for sure. It's just absurd. It's brimstone from the angel room basically. R key is 1 sec. R key breaks the mechanics of the game. It allows you to basically restart with all your items, and it just allows you to get more items, like a shitload of items. If you find an R key, like I think the R key is the best item in the game by far, just by technicality's sake. Maybe like, well, whoops, I threw something in here on accident. What did I do? Oh, whatever. You guys will see what happened. I don't see it. Yeah, R key is just nuts. It's stupid good. Robo Baby 2.0 and 1.0 are both very mediocre but reasonable familiars. I think that they're both actually like B tier. They both actually serve a decent purpose. Rock Bottom is one of the most fun items in the game, and it's probably the item I want to unlock next. I have to win by beating Boss Rush with Jacob and Esau. Oh, God. Jacob and Esau, dude. Oh, God. Yeah, this is an S plus item. Yeah, it's like S tier, actually. There's so many ways to break the game with this. You need other game-breaking things to make it work, but it's just insane. Rocket in a Jar is a fun, like, upgrade to bombs, better than regular bombs. Roid Rage is a speed up, and I love speed ups, A tier. Plus it gets you spun. This gives you tears up and a little bit of faith up, whatever the fuck that means. It's A tier. Rotten Baby is one of the best familiars in the game, as it just constantly keeps producing out flies, which is a very strong effect. A tier. This is an HP up, which gives you HP. It's B tier. Rotten Tomato tears. I thought this was a lot better than it actually is. This is actually one of the worst tier effects in the game. You fire at an enemy, and then other enemies go and attack it, and then they kill it, and then it's like, whatever. You know, sometimes it's good with, like, a boss. Sometimes it's okay with, like, a boss. Like, it's C tier, but, like, I don't know, man. I rarely see it work, so until I see it work better, it's kind of shit. Rubber Cement, one of my favorite tier effects. It just, tears bounce off of enemies and hit other enemies. I'm always happy to see it. A tier. Rune Bag creates runes. I mean, that's pretty cool. B tier, I guess. Runes sometimes suck, but sometimes they're game winning. Mr. Sack makes it so sometimes you get sacks instead of coins, which give you more coins. It's pretty good. B tier, I guess. It's an okay effect. Sack of Pennies. It makes it so that you drop a penny every two rooms. Incredible as the Keeper, kind of shit as everyone else, but again, it's a penny every 2 rooms, and you play a lot of rooms in Isaac. You'll eventually get a lot of value out of it. Sack of Sacks, much like every other sack item, it's okay. It drops extra stuff, and I like extra stuff. Sacred Heart is the best item in the game. The damage multiplier is stupid. It's just Toming Tears with a stupid damage multiplier of like 2.2 or something. Makes it so that you basically are a broken piece of shit. This is a new item that basically increases the value of every item you see. It kind of turns you into the Tainted Lost a bit. I'm going to put it in S+. It's such a fun effect, and it will be very noticeable throughout a run. Sacrificial Altar is pretty good. You have 2 terrible items. You want to get rid of them? Boom, Sacrificial Altar. You get 2 new, you get something else. Sacrificial Dagger is one of the few orbitals that actually makes it worth it to use an orbital. I'm going to put it in S tier, as the damage is just absolutely absurd. You just basically saw through enemies like they're nothing. Sad Bombs is slightly better than other bombs, so I'm actually going to put it in B tier. Pin, one of the worst boss items, but still, whatever, D tier. This is Piercing Tears. I like Piercing Tears. That's S tier. Plus, it's a speed up, making it even better. Salvation. I think this is one of the best items in the game, but I'm not actually sure. Yeah, it creates like these psycho beams around Isaac. I don't know. It's pretty good for only being a quality 2 item. This is the old ball and chain. I don't like it. D tier. I think I'd rather have Stompy than this shit. It's so, like, difficult to use. Oh, there's Red Stew. Alright, Red Stew is B tier. This adds spikes in the Devil Room, and I don't know. I don't care about it. Satanic Bible. Absolutely run winning. Basically, like, the new change that they did to make the boss item into a Devil Room actually increases the value of it. So I think they actually buffed it and made it stronger, because fuck boss items. They suck. Saturn. This thing makes it so you get a ring of tears around you, which is always fun, really cool, great for room clears. A tier overall. Pretty good effect. Sausage is in all stats up, and I'm always happy to see it. It's definitely an S tier. If you get an item that increases all your stats a decent amount, you're always happy. Scapular. This thing kind of works. I don't know. I'm going to put it in Z tier because I can barely ever make this thing work. Nah, I'll put it in B tier. I don't know. It gets some value when you're dying, but it's so niche. Scatter Bombs is a good tier effect. I'm going to put it in B tier. Or a good bomb effect, I mean. Backpack gives you an extra active item, and funny enough, active items are so good that it's actually worth getting a second active item. I'm going to put this in A tier. Considering you could charge 2 items side by side, you definitely are not too upset by this. Scissors is not that good, and I always regret having it, so I'm going to throw it in D tier. I don't care. Scorpio makes your tears poisonous. It's pretty good. It's a pretty strong tier upgrade. This is a Screw, which is a tears up and shot speed up. I like it. It's a good upgrade. I'm usually pretty happy to see it. It's B tier. Seraphim is probably the ultimate, like, familiar. It gives you a Sacred Heart, like, it shoots out Sacred Heart shots at a good rate, which can just save your ass in every situation. It's an actual S tier familiar. This is Serpent's Kiss, one of the, like, this is also a super S tier item, and I don't really understand why. It's the Kiss of Death, and apparently it used to be able to generate black hearts, but now it can't do that. I guess, dude, I'll be honest with you. I've never really seen this item. Like, it's apparently so good, but I just don't see it anywhere. Gotta beat Satan with Lilith. Oh, that's probably why. I don't think I've even done that. It's a good-ass item. I'll put it in S tier. It's definitely, like, a better version of Poison Tears, as the tears do your damage at a reasonable rate. Shade, for the most part, is basically just a following fly with an extra effect if you are very dedicated. Shard of Glass, I used to take this thing all the time, and then I was like, oh, no wonder everyone hates it. It's terrible. It makes you deal damage to yourself, and you never want that, even though the extra damage is good early game. This item throws keys. I don't like it. I just think it's like a boring shit item that I just don't like. Sharp Plug allows you to have infinite item charges, which is okay. It's like a B tier item. I definitely think that taking damage to do like this has possibilities of being game breaking, but I don't know. It's kind of rare for that shit to happen. Suck Straw, D tier. I guess it has some niche value, but it's too damn slow. And if you're using this thing, like, it means you've run out of options. Ship the Whoop is a great room clear. That's one of the best things to combo with the 9-volt battery. I'm going to put it in A tier. It's a Brimstone Beam, you know? You love Brimstone Beams. Sinus Infection, one of the best tier effects in the game. I'm going to put it in S tier. Creates, like, exponential booger tier damage, which is always very strong. Lil Sissy, fun, cute little baby item. Put it in B tier. It does what it, you know, it does its job. It's a cute, it stays cute. Sister Maggie goes in Brother Bobby tier, which is, you know, oh wait, Sister Maggie does a lot of damage. Yeah, it's with Brother Bobby, but Sister Maggie actually does kind of like a lot. This is some spider love right here, or some fly love, whatever. It's okay. It's C tier. It's not really all that exciting. Skeleton Keys, Infinite Keys, which is actually pretty good considering there's key beggars. So A tier. It's better than other shit because key beggars will start to give you items because you'll never run out of keys. Pointy Rib is a defensive orbital that is okay. I don't hate seeing it, but I'm never really too happy. This is a fly that is pretty good, but you got to take damage first. But if you do take damage, it does a lot, so B tier. Super Meat Boy, all stats up, but at a much smaller rate. Still A tier, but it's definitely not S tier. Trinket Smelter allows you to smelt trinkets and collect multiple trinkets, which either can be great or just completely useless. It's B tier. God, I'm so close, man. Oh my god. Soul is one of the least useful planetarium things, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna give it a C tier. I'm never actually that happy when I see this. I mean, sure, it's like, you know, it's... It just shows you the location of the boss, and you're supposed to beat the boss before you beat everything else, but I just don't think it gives you that much of an effect. I don't know what this is. I'm going to throw it in Z tier. I actually don't know how the hell I'm going to find this item. Yeah, I can't find this item anywhere, so I don't know what the hell it is. Soy Milk, A tier, A tier, A tier. I don't care what anybody says. The buffs to Soy Milk are fantastic. I love that I can now get like 27 tears per second. If you can make this work, it's so good. It's so fun. And Soy Milk's one of the most fun tier effects in the game. Just for the fun of it, it's A tier alone. This gives you a sword, which is okay, I guess. Sometimes. I honestly think it's like B tier. You get some value out of it, but it's not great. Speed Up. I always love Speed Ups. A tier. I like anything that gives me speed. Spelunker Hat helps you see secret rooms, but it's definitely worse than X-ray glasses. I'm going to give it a C tier. Spider Baby spawns a bunch of spiders when you take damage. It's just like Infestation. It's going in Infestation tier. Spider Bite is a slow effect on your tears, which is pretty good. I think it's actually decent. It's a decent tier effect, B tier. Spider Butt is really good. It basically is a full room clear sometimes with small enemies, and it'll spawn a bunch of flies, and you can make this, or spiders, and you can make it really strong. I think it's an A tier item. Usually it really carries you through the early game. Modded Spider's cute. I like the effect that it has with making the health bars under everything. I think that's just a straight up, like, really good effect. but that's really all I care about with it. Spin down dice allows you to basically cheat the game, and I like items that cheat the game. S tier. You can pick and choose whatever the hell you want, but again, you need high skill to do that. Spinning top, I don't enjoy this item. I guess it works sometimes, but I've never made it work. C tier. Spirit of the Night is another flight item. It's going up in flight tier, plus it gives you spectral tiers. I really like that. Spirit Shackles is so niche. I guess it's like it helps you live for a little bit, but I haven't seen this thing, so I can't, take it with a grain of salt. I'm just throwing it in B tier. Spirit Sword. This is a game-winning item right here. This is you can just win with this. It's S plus tier. The sword's incredibly strong. It's just like so good. It was designed to be game destroying, and that's why, I don't know, man. I just love this thing. It's such a cool item too. Yeah, the swing damage is absolutely absurd. Homing tiers are now officially good. They're now officially A tier, as it's like, it actually feels like you're doing magician's work. Sprinkler D tier, it's way too long of a charge for too little of an effect. It honestly could be like a one-room charge, I think. Squeaky! This is better than regular tiers up because it gives you soul hearts, and I like soul hearts. Stapler is damage up. We like damage up. Oops, I dropped it somewhere. Whatever, you know where it's supposed to go. It's Stapler, okay? Eden's Soul. This is an item that will spawn 2 random item pedestals for the current roam. I don't know, man. It's, let's put it in B tier, I guess. I think you have to collect a bunch of shit to make it work. No, you just gotta charge it up. It's A tier. It's pretty good. It's an active that gives you more items, but you just gotta not have an active item. Extra card slot. This gives you more cards and turns pills. Oh, wait. Turns pills into cards. It's F tier. We don't fuck with that. Pill Nation gang, okay? Oh, yeah, there's Stapler. A tier. This is a damage, or this is a HP up, so we're putting in an HP up tier. Steam Sale is pretty good too. It's B tier, but usually get it when you don't need it. And shops kind of suck now in hard mode, so whatever. Alright, and that's basically this tier list. However, there's a lot of things that aren't on this list because it stops at S, so let me see if I could find another list to finish off the rest. But that being said, this is basically what I have so far for the official tier list. Alright, so the problem with this tier list is they simply don't have anything past the letter S, so I'm going to go over to this other tier list maker tier list thing, and we're basically going to do the rest of them on a separate tier list so that we can actually rank all the items. The next item that we need to actually do is Steven, which is just a flat damage up, which is pretty good. I'm going to give that a plus tier. Of course, they got different tiers here. So it's going to be a little bit of a different ranking system, but we're still going to get every item anyways. Spider Bombs is basically a bomb item, which is bomb tier. Stigma is better than a just HP up, which would probably be, actually, yeah, so these are here. This is better than a regular HP up because it gives you a damage up, so I'm going to put it next to Lil Steve. Stopwatch is just absolutely incredible. I love seeing Stopwatch. Anytime I see it, I want to buy it, and if I can't buy it, I cry. Strange Attraction, even with the buffs. Oh, you scared the shit out of me, dog. Yeah, this thing sucks, and I hate seeing it. Every time I see it, it's F tier. F tier. Succubus is one of the best guys in the game for just like increasing damage. I love it. He does damage, and he just amplifies damage, so he's basically everything in one. Sulfuric acid lets you find secret rooms, which is a very valuable thing for free, so I actually really like this. I'm going to give it an A tier. Lets you destroy every rock in the game as well. Super Bandage is like a super HP up, and super HP ups are pretty good. I'm going to give it an A tier. Sworn Protector is like Guardian Angel, but it does, instead of doing the other effect, it kind of blocks tears. I don't know, I've never actually gotten a whole lot of value out of this thing, so I'm just going to give it a B+. Maybe you can disagree with me in the comments or something. This is a damage up item. It's Synthol, whatever. It gives you more damage. I like more damage. A+. Tammy's Head can potentially be game breaking with a good item, but unfortunately most of the time you don't actually get that, and it's just decent. So because of that, I'm just going to give it a B+ tier, for it has its purpose sometimes. This tarot card item makes tarot cards worth double, which is a very good effect. I actually am very happy whenever I see this thing. I'm going to give it an A tier because it's good, but it doesn't win any runs. Taurus. Again, I hate Taurus. I hate seeing Taurus. I don't want to ever get Taurus on accident again. Tear Detonator. I actually had a run with eyeball tears that made use of Tear Detonator, and I'll be honest, when this thing is like absolutely at its peak best, it's like S plus tier or S tier, but for the most part it's like D tier, D tier like 99% of the time. But I did make it useful once. Also, Isaac's Jar of Collected Tears is the same way. Also, Lead Pencil was not on the other tier list too. There was a bunch of missing shit from the other tier list, man. Lead Pencil is really good. It's A+. Now we get to the tech items. Tech point 5 is so good, it's extra damage for nothing. You don't gotta give up anything, it's just tons of extra damage. It's actually S tier. You would think Tech point 5 wouldn't be amazing, but it's pretty absolutely incredible. Tech 2 is one of the worst tech items, as, I mean, sure, it gives you like a soy milk type of beam, but yeah, the damage just, like, you just stop dealing damage once you get this thing, or it just kind of like moves it around. It doesn't do a whole lot on its own. I really enjoy technology. I like that they make your tears into these piercing fun beams. I'm going to give it an A+ tier. I actually really enjoy it anytime I get this. Being able to have infinite range and just an instantaneous attack is very strong, and actually like almost underrated for how strong it is. Technology 0 has its places where sometimes it's really, really good. It's a fun tier effect, and any fun tier effect, I think the fun factor makes it deserve to be high up, but it's not nearly as good as some other technology effects. Tech X is no longer S+ tier. I think it's just S tier. I don't think it's the best item, like, or even close to the best item anymore. I think that they really nerfed the damage and put like a stop to its domination, but I still think it's very strong. Telekinesis. This is FFFFF tier. When have I ever gotten any use out of this? This is a booster pack item. Get this shit out of my face. I don't know, maybe someone's made telekinesis work. I hate this item. It's like a waste of an item slot. I end up taking more damage trying to make tears like fly back at the enemy than I'll ever do with like damaging. I don't know, it's bad. Telepathy for Dummies got a buff, but it's still pretty lame. I'm gonna give it a C tier. I'd much rather just like it's okay in some occasions, but you'll just find much better active items than this. Golden Teleporter, aka, you know, the error room finder. If you're looking for error rooms, that's all this is good for, but you need a lot of conditions to be able to do that. Regular teleporter can basically get you out of a bad situation in an instant. Unfortunately, that situation happens very rarely, so it's basically like D tier, very, very useless. This is a battery that lets you double charge your item. It's one of the worst battery items. I think it's C tier because it's got its niche effects where sometimes you want to double up your item in a certain room, but for the most part, it really doesn't do a whole lot. It basically just like lets you double charge your item for 15 bucks, which is not really that useful, especially for most items in the game. But sometimes it allows you to double charge so that you can hold on to a charge when you need it, and sometimes that actually does allow you to make some really good things happen. I'm actually going to give it B tier. Poopy Shit Bean. This thing makes a fart and I don't like it, and I never want this thing. It's terrible. I don't want to ever use it. I throw it away anytime I see it. No. I do not like green eggs and ham. The belt is a fantastic speed up, and I like speed ups in this game, especially since the game is just getting so hard. Unfortunately, though, with speed ups, there's just a lot of them, so I'm going to put them in A tier. The Bible. This thing shows up all the time, and I never get any use out of it. C tier, one of the worst books. Black Bean. This thing occasionally does some stuff. It's C tier, but again, it's another you got to take damage item, or it's just farting effects in this game are not good, and they probably never will be. The Heart. Or whatever, the body. This is one of the best HP ups. It's definitely worthy of S tier. If you get this, you're going to want to start going to devil deals. This thing can basically, like, carry you up for a couple of floors, because, look, 3 full heart containers is a lot different than getting, like, 1 heart container. You know, there's a massive difference. However, it is a treasure room item, so it's A+. If it was like a boss item, it would definitely be like S tier. Book of Belial. Why was this, again, this is another thing that I'm questioning. Why was this not on the other tier list? It's a good book. This is a good book, but I find myself just holding on to it until the boss room, which makes it kind of a lesser item than I would like it to be. Book of Sin is a decent item that generates items. Boomerang. This thing sucks. I never pick it up. F tier. Blue Candle is basically like a superior version of Red Candle. Super tier. Love it. Love to see it. Really great. Actually, I'm throwing this up here. Throwing this here. This guy here. Yeah. This looks right. Common Cold is a terrible item. C tier. It's good early game. Sucks late game. Celtic Cross, this thing is fantastic, gives you a bunch of soul hearts throughout the game. I like automatic soul heart generation. Compass, another shit item. I'm gonna give it a B tier. Rarely ever gets any value. The D6 is amazing. This thing lets you reroll any item you want. Very useful. Game Kid, it's I don't know, man. Another invincibility item that does its job. B+. I'm so exhausted. The Halo. It's stats up are good. A+. I want to get this shit over with, man. I'm tired. Stopwatch. This thing slows down time. It's an okay item. C tier. By okay, I mean pretty bad. I never really want to use it. Inner Eye is like quad shot. Yeah, it's good. I like, anytime I see Inner Eye, I'm not upset. Empty Jar. I think this is the Jar of Hearts, which I think is horrible. D tier. I don't know, man. Every time I see it, I don't want it, so bye-bye. The Ladder. This thing lets you walk over spaces. It's pretty good for 15 bucks. I'm gonna give it a B plus tier. Lets you pick up some hard-to-get items before you get your flight item. Ludovico's Technique. Some people hate this item. It's one of my favorite items. I really enjoy this item. I think it's S tier. I think the fact that you can adjust your tiers and just like never have to worry about aiming is fantastic. The downside barely feels like a downside, especially with the new with like all the synergies. Isaac can basically spawn a blue fly when one of his tiers hits an enemy. I don't ever really see this thing like working, but I mean, I guess it's kind of like a guppy mini. It's like it does something. It's a B tier item, but it really is very little of an effect. The Nail is kind of like a shittier Satanic Bible, but it still is something that's like Satanic Bible, so it's pretty fucking good. It's like Book of Belial mixed with Satanic Bible. It has a lot of uses. The Necronomicon, oops. Massive room damage, which is pretty useful. I'll give it a B+ tier. It just takes up an item spot, and I'd rather have something that helps me with bosses. The Polaroid, or the Negative, I'm not really going to consider these for anything. I mean, if you get it every run, what the hell is the point of me actually ranking it, honestly? It's a quest item. Get the hell out of here. The Pact, one of the best tears up and damage up items you can get. Very, very good. Parasite, it's not as good as Cricket's Body, but it does have its niches and its special effects when combined with the right items. The Pleeper just pops your eye out. You're going to shoot your eye out, kid. Terrible item. Never want to see it again on my runs. Shears. This is like scissors, but a lot better because instead of being useless, it does something. It has your body like run over to the boss and deal damage, which is a good enough effect to end up in B tier. The Pope. Pretty terrible. You hate to see it. I'm going to give it F tier. Never want to see it in an actual item room or I'm going to cry. There's more options, which allows you for boss room options, which is, I mean, boss room items are not as good as regular items, so it's only A tier, but, you know, it's okay. Sad Onion is a tears up. We like tears up, A tier. Small Rock, I swear this thing used to be a lot better than it is now, but it's still good, A tier. I just think that the speed down is actually, like, really harsh nowadays. The Soul, this thing allows you to, like, sometimes dodge bullets. It's another A+ item. All three of these guys all kind of have their own niches and own, like, usefulnesses. But, they're, yeah, whatever. They're not gonna win you games on their own. any of them. This is a speed up. I like speed ups. I've gotten very used to speed ups. So speed it up. We're putting in an A tier for speed up tier. The wafer, I mean, it's just game winning straight up. SS tier. It basically makes it so anything you anything late game deals only half a heart instead of a full heart, which you'd be surprised how goddamn good that is. It can totally save your butt. Dunce Cap used to hate this item, but now I think it's okay. Now I think it's like B tier because some of the synergies it has, like, I mean, even like Eye of the Occult will just turn it into a 2020. Say you get like Eye of the Occult and Technology Zero, or the thing that like makes the lightning tears or whatever. Like then you just have like an always going like bzz, bzz, bzz beam. You know, there's a lot of cool synergies with Dunce Cap. I used to think it was terrible, but now I take it quite often actually. Thunder Thighs. This thing makes you stompy and lowers your speed but gives you a bunch of health. It has some uses, but overall it's pretty, like, I'm never really excited to see it. I'll give it a D tier. Planetary Tears. People hate this shit, but I think it's got plenty of combos and I actually really enjoy it. I'm going to put it with Dunce Tears because it has a ton of interesting combos and could be very good. This thing, what the hell is this? I don't know what this is. I don't want to look it up. It's, I mean, if I see the item thing for it, then I'll pick it up, but I don't know. Toothpicks is a tears up, so is the torn photo or whatever the fuck the other thing is. Yeah, this is also a tears up. Tears ups are great. Not as good as damage ups, but they're still very good. Tooth shot. Tooth shot's fantastic if you can get a tooth out, but if not, it's like whatever. It's B plus tier. I'm never really happy to see it. Actually, it's A tier, but again, I'm never happy to see it. It's just something where I'm like, okay, this is what I got. This is the item that anytime you enter a room, poisons every enemy. I love this thing. I think that, again, like, bosses are not the hardest thing in this game. The hardest thing in this game are, like, tough rooms where you just take BS damage. And I honestly think that this is like a great way to preserve like a bunch of your health, is just like killing enemies and damaging them all super early. It's great against any swarm enemy, anything that doesn't have a million health, so it can just kill off tiny enemies before you have to deal with a big one. Plus anything that spawns more enemies will just die from the pools of poison. I actually love this item. I don't know why it's so rated, so low rated on a lot of lists. Tractor Beam. This item's amazing. It's amazing. I think it's like A plus tier. I think it's better than a tears up because the fact that I can just constantly like beam someone and follow them along. It's like if my tier misses, I can just push it over and it hits the enemy. That is a very good effect in any situation. The Noose. This thing gives you flight. I'm putting it in flight tier. Treasure Map allows you to see the full map. Wow, so exciting. Worth 15 bucks sometimes, kind of. Trinity Shield occasionally blocks shots, could occasionally be good. If I see it in an angel room, I'm not always that upset. This is that thing that makes your tears into light shots, which I thought would be so much better than it is, but because it makes the damage so low, I actually end up hating this item and despising it anytime I get it. It's just, like, the damage down is just too brutal, but it has a lot of synergies and can be really good if it's, like, with the good stuff. Unidentified. This can teleport you to some interesting rooms, but the charge is just way too high, and honestly, I always get, like, screwed and just go into a room I've already been in, so I never am happy with picking it up. Unicorn Stump is great. I like this item because it's, like, invincibility you can use all the time, which is just amazing for, like, you know... I mean, it's definitely, like, not a good item. It's, like, a B plus tier, but you can get a lot of use out of, like, donation machines and devil beggars, meaning you can get good items out of it. This is, Varicose or whatever. This thing, I don't remember. Yeah, I think this is Varicose or whatever. Yeah, it's pretty whatever. I mean, I rarely ever see the effect of this thing actually do anything. This is a portal thing. You can go into a cursed room and exit out of it. It allows you to keep teleporting back and forth, which is pretty useless in Repentance, I'll be honest. It's got a few niche uses, but for the most part, again, it's an active item slot. It's not that good. Virgo is like Celtic Cross, except for I think it happens more often, which makes it a better item. So I'm actually going to put it over in, let's just put it B tier for occasional invincibility. It can be S plus, SS tier, but it also could just be like never happens and you just take a bunch of damage for nothing. Anything that's like super, you know, whatever, is eh. Alright, the Void, SS tier. This thing basically, if you suck, literally all you gotta do is suck up Satanic Bible, suck up a Book of Belial, and just like a couple of other strong items. Just like go into a library with this thing and you win the game basically. Yeah, that's all you gotta do. Wait, what? Is a substantially better version of Butterbean that when you get it, it's like it allows you to reveal any secret room. It's like an unlimited bomb effect. Very strong active item. Don't let the Butterbean appearance fool you. It is very, very useful early game and even late game for just like crushing through any sort of rock or anything. It's constantly usable. It's infinite. You always kind of are happy with it. The Shovel. I mean, it's F tier. If you get a crawl space, it's good, but for the most part, you never get a crawl space. You always get to the next floor, which, let's be honest, how often are you actually going into those portals, you know, unless you're speedrunning? White Pony is flight tier. Amazing. Even though it's an active item, I think that it's better than the other pony because the active effect is just so powerful. Whore of Babylon, one of the best like effects for like being low health. You can activate it pretty easily, and it gives you a very big stat upgrade. Wire Coat Hanger is pretty good. Tears up tier. Wooden Nickel, pretty good active item. Great on the Keeper. Whatever. Wooden Spoon. Oh my God, we're almost done. Wooden Spoon is a speed up tier. X-ray goggles. It's a lot better than Spelunker hat. B plus because you don't actually need to use bombs, and it's not like you need to know the location of secret rooms if you could just see them. And then finally, the guy who reveals secret rooms. This little hey look listen fairy. Of course, now this is all like the non repentance items that. Oh God, I don't even know how to explain this to you guys. But yeah, there are probably a couple of items in here that aren't actually on the list, like TM Trainer and stuff, but I can't actually find any of that shit on any tier list, so just assume it's all in F tier. That's gonna be all, you guys. Yeah, so that's the official tier list for the second half of the list. You can combine it with this one, and there you go. That's basically every Isaac item ranked. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. This was such a long video, so please leave a like if you enjoyed it. Without further ado, I'm gone. Peace out. Thanks for watching.